Good year, good year, good year. I can hardly agree to anybody without saying good morning. Good morning is my thing, right? But this is good new year. Happy New Year. So far, I have not heard one piece of disappointing or negative news yet all year. This whole entire 11 hours of 2022. Oh, Happy New Year. I'm expecting good things this year. I actually had good things in 2021. 2021, in my mind, well, not my mind, but for me personally, in my business, is pretty good. All right, I haven't been exercising my voice enough, so here I'm going to hit the cough button. I think one of my resolutions, I don't call it a New Year's resolutions because I make resolutions all through the year to try to improve things. I think I need to start doing those voice warm-ups, that singers do before they go on stage, because I live alone. So I start live streaming, and commonly there has not been anything past my vocal cords yet. All right, we need an AVDW check. So here's W. And actually going to add a couple more letters for today. We need AVDW check, so that's audio, visual, DVR, and watch. I just put the watch on the table. We also need to do, let's see, what is it? R and, what's that other one called? Over here. R and, I can't even remember it. The delay, the ultra low latency, R and L. That's it. The letters are R and L. So resolution, let's make sure we got the 1080p resolution coming over. You can check click on the gear icon in the bottom right corner and make sure you're seeing 1080p. It's 1920 by 1080 is the number you should see. And then the delay, the ultra low latency, I can look over here and the dot is showing ultra low latency. Probably not going to know that until we get some people in the Zoom session. I think I've had a couple doorbells ring. I know there are a couple people waiting there. Or it might be the same person, I don't know. Let me do a little catch up. In chat, some of you, if you look at your chat screen, you might see that I'm interested to find out what you're seeing. What's the first time that you see a chat? You might need to turn on timestamps, and whatever your time zone is, okay. I'm only going to pay attention to what you put after the colon. So in the chat, you could put the earliest timestamp of the chat item that you see. On this screen, I'm seeing 7:34 a.m. from Alan Barsness. Over here, I see 10:50 a.m. from Darren Gilholm, and I know there were some ones before that because I actually saw some people in chat yesterday, not long after I created the scheduled item. Well, about an hour ago, I changed the description on this video. So these two computers refreshed so that I could see that, and that's when I lost all the prior chat elements. So if you looked into this or opened this video window for the upcoming live stream more than an hour ago, you probably see those old chat messages. And if you opened it after I made the changes, you probably don't see those chat messages. Not really an important piece, but I'm curious. So prior to 7:34, I took a photo of this screen behind me on my mat so that I could read the names to you without turning my head. There was Darren Gilholm, Bill Sonny, TT3, I should say Bill Sony, I guess, TT3, Ken Stout Live, Matthew Camp, 915, and Vijaya Vital, and Alan Barsness. So that's who showed up before that. And now we got over here, let's bring up this screen. Alan Barson's the first one showing up now. Tony Wallow comes in with $4.99. Thank you so much, Tony. And he did a, oh, what's that? That PayPal. He did a PayPal recently too. And thank you for that. I'd like to go show a little bit more about contributions later, perhaps in today's show. Dennis Paulson says, hello, I wonder if Kerry will stream past builds all day like he did last year. I don't know. Parker Morse says, hello. Dennis Paulson says he ran into an issue, Debian Linux not supporting Wi-Fi adapters anymore. I had to plug in a cable for version 11. I'm not a big Linux person, so I don't have answers to that, but somebody else might. I better scroll down here and see if we're okay with everything. Yeah, I don't see anybody complaining about things that are wrong. There's 1080, AVDW chat. Good. Okay, coming back up here, let's catch up a little bit. Some hellos back and forth. Catherine's here. Hi, Catherine, and RM, and Gary. There's Ken again, and Arnold Albert. Hello to you too. Happy New Year. Catherine on RM and talking back and forth to each other. Very good. You really tried hard to avoid the diet. I think there's conversation going back here about a cat's diet between two people. John Aloy Sr., hello to you from balmy Virginia. 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh my gosh. RM, I think that's in response to the cat. Can you catch up on his sleep? Yeah, I think that was the cat. Hello and good afternoon. Happy New Year's. And hellos back and forth. DVR good. New Year resolution. The New Year resolution is more than 240p. Really? That's good. That's clever, Catherine. Thank you. If anyone didn't catch it, the double meaning of the word resolution there. Hello. I explain that because I tend to miss things like that, not because I assume you do. AVDW, good. Good afternoon. Letters, yeah, I'm not sure what that was referring to. YouTube 1080. 1246. Ken Stout, earliest he saw was 1246. So that actually means 4-6. So in my vernacular, that would have been 1046 is the earliest that he saw. That looks like Dennis Paulson as who he saw. So maybe he didn't even see Alan Barsness at 734, which is, I think, what I'm seeing here. Yeah. So Ken didn't get that one. Hellos to everybody. Hello. Happy New Year. Tim Sal's here. Hello, Tim. Good to see you. RM, that's the cat. I think Little Man must be the name of the cat. Survived. Tim, you survived last night. Good morning to you. Video and voice fine. DVR all in chat. Hi from Southeast Wisconsin. Presently in a snowstorm. Darn, we're getting a snowstorm in Minnesota. I have trouble with the MIs. I think that's Minnesota, or not MI. Of the states that begin with the letters MI. 53 for Selden Bell. Hello to you. Ken Misudek. We miss you too. All right, that was a stupid pun, wasn't it? Ken misses the deck. John Alloy, just wondering what the problem was with the low resolution streams. Yes, that is one of the topics for today. Ken Stout saying hello, Happy New Year, everyone in chat. Michigan, we do know what the low resolution problem was last week, and I'll go into that. Ida Rivera, 82 degrees as usual. So about an hour ago, I changed the description of this video, scrolling down to this description to where I have this topic list. These are potential topics for today. We may or may not get through all of them. If you look through this list and you see a topic you particularly want me to get to, I don't need to take them in order. You can just put it in chat. Topic space 1, topic space 5, whatever topic you're particularly interested in. There's already been a request for what? Here, this number 4, 240p live stream resolution in last Saturday live stream. So very quick and easy to answer that. I speculated or suspected in last week's live stream that the update to XSplit that occurred the night before last week's live stream may have caused a problem. Yes, indeed it did. It changed the default resolution setting for the live stream. Last week when I ended the stream and then restarted it, I did not know clearly enough where to go to look for that. I did get to the screen that had that setting, but I didn't spot the option on that screen that was showing 240p. And so now I've made that change. When I prepared for the live stream today, I made sure that that default had got saved and was ready to go. So that is what had caused it. I could have fixed it last week if I had spotted the field on a very cluttered, busy screen that was set wrong. So that's really all there is to say about that. So let's go see who is waiting in Zoom. I'll punch over, I'll bring Zoom up on the screen, and then I have to switch to that screen. And that's on a different webcam, so sometimes it gets a little blurry. I see participants 3. There's Alex Cheek and Gary Weisenberger. I will admit all, and here they come. I wanted to just continue with the rest of the Monkees song. Here they come, or here we come, whatever they say. There's Alex.
Hi, Doug. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Alex. Good to see you. How I see you have the technical support background that I saw you had on.
Ken has been helping me get into live streaming and showing me stuff on OBS and all that. So I thought it'd be a good idea to I wanted to get into what you do, just on a much smaller scale.
Okay, great. Welcome to that. And I've seen a little bit of that because I've seen some of the videos that Ken has put out. Sometimes I've been, oftentimes not live, but I watch it later.
Yes, Ken has helped me a lot. He's got me up to, I've put out a few videos. He's got me up to like 56 or 57 subscribers now.
Oh, great! Oh, so you passed the 50 mark.
I still can't live stream from my phone or tablet for some reason.
Well, it may take a while before YouTube actually turns that on, because when you meet a particular criteria level, it's not automated. YouTube will, I don't know if it's staff or whatever, but when I passed the 100 mark, it didn't happen right away for me to be able to get the features of that. And when I passed the 1,000 mark and the number of hours watched, my monetization didn't come on right away. And I've found documentation from YouTube that says there are these qualifications that you have to meet before you can do something. That doesn't mean you're automatically going to be able to do that something when you meet those qualifications. So it's probably going to come. However, you could potentially be able to do push that a little bit by request. Let's go take a quick look at that. Oh, let's see. Somebody here, I got to see. Somebody responded to my Monkees comment. Oh, I got to say, I'm sorry. Gary, hello.
Hello, Doug.
Doug.
How's your New Year so far?
DougBetts.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right on your forehead. No, I'm
hey,
kidding.
all year long, it has been just fantastic. Not a single thing has gone wrong.
Oh, anything is not late for your check, right?
Say again?
I can call you anything is not late for your check.
Anything and not late for a check. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let me catch up a little bit here. Then I'm going to go see if I can show Alex something that might help. I'm not sure if it will or not. Hello from Florida, all the best. Chris, if you want monkeys, they've been trolling my channel, making rude comments. That's way better than my explanation. Okay, I guess that it's probably regarding that it's not once Alex passed the 50, it hasn't worked yet. And Zavi Manor, hello to you and Happy New Year. And another piece of that, Alex, is that YouTube does has a whole lot of algorithms going along. And we talk about that, or some people talk about the YouTube algorithm. There's lots of algorithms, lots of automated procedures that provide information to the YouTube staff, and they make decisions about how to do things, and they're always changing things. So it's never the case where one YouTuber's experience is going to be the same as others. But one of the things that I was concerned with as Ken was trying to help you reach the 50 is that I suspect one of the algorithms picks up on potential phony efforts. That's not a good verbiage to use, but the possibility that they could have picked up on the artificial attempt to get you up past 50, and they might make look at you closer before deciding to grant you the cell phone live streaming. Not so much because you had help getting there, but because they could be concerned that you could be somebody with devious intent. And I think if they look at your videos and your interactions with Ken, they're going to conclude that's not the case. But I think that's part of the reason why it's probably not automatic. It's their way of fighting against the bots that are out there. So anyway, I want to come and show you what I think might be a solution. So I'm showing this on YouTube now. I'm going to go to my YouTube channel. Here's the YouTube Studio, and then come down here to settings, I think it is, and permissions. Is that what I want? Manage permissions on your brand account. Move permissions. So nope, that's not what I want. And this is where, feature eligibility. Yeah, feature eligibility. So if you come into this screen and click on this drop down, you see requirements. And it seems to me that there might be an option there. If you're not already enabled on these, there might be a way to request it. So just go take a look at how that screen, if there's anything on that screen that looks like it may be helpful for you. And then just go explore around the others. I don't know, it just might be that there's a way to kind of give them a little nudge. Give that a shot. And what do I want to go back to now? It's, oops, wrong computer, wrong keyboard, coming back to chat. And that's how far we've got there. So I covered the resolution question. We got back on the monkeys. And, I got to go open the Zoom, turn off the waiting room. So anyone else that comes in will be able to get right in if they have the credentials. If you'd like to come in and you don't have the credentials, send me an email. The address is DougBetts@LiveWindowsTraining.com. Ask for the Zoom credentials so that I know that's what you're asking for. And I'll send that back to you by return email. Then let's come back to my list. Now, before I start working on my list, is that the wrong one? Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah, I was looking at Vijay Vital. Vital Vijay, I think Vital is his first name because he was in the chat today. I want to go back and refresh my memory about what we did with him. So here is that list. So this topic list. Is there anything somebody specifically wants to ask me to go talk about? I'll give you a moment to respond to that. And in the meantime, Gary and Alex, did you have any other subject you want to bring up?
No, thank you.
All right.
But I'll take one that's on your list.
You will. Which one?
The USB and BIOS.
USB and BIOS. Yes.
I've never seen in HP, Dell, or Lenovo. I've never seen separately.
Yes. The HP all-in-one computers that I have here have that in BIOS to individually disable USB ports. Yes.
I learned something today.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, I've got an HDMI cable here. And all I'd have to do is bring one of those computers in here and I can show it. And the reason for being interested in showing that is that somebody recently was dealing with a laptop, a spouse's laptop, work laptop, that a USB port is not functioning. And I don't remember who it was. If you guys know, remind me.
Yes, be separately and no.
When that laptop's no longer needed at the wife's employment, our participant was expecting to be able to get his hands on it and check it out. And I was thinking it could be in the BIOS setting, but it also could be if that computer is joined. And Ken Stout, turn off your YouTube audio so we don't hear it.
Give me a minute. It's the new year. I'm struggling here.
I find that so funny because he has the same trouble with people who come in to his live stream. Finishing that comment. Hang on, Ken. Let me finish my thought. Oh yes, if that laptop is joined to the work domain, there could be policies set by the domain administrator that disables USB ports. Now, even if you don't find that capability apparent, there's probably a registry entry that can be made to do that. And also, if you go, as evidence of that, if you go into Device Manager, you do get individual device drivers for the different USB ports. They're not labeled very well. It's difficult to tell which is which. And I haven't tested this, but I'm pretty sure that if you disable one of those individual drivers there, that you can disable the port. Now, I think the person that is presenting the problem has already verified there's nothing disabled in Device Manager, but it could be in a policy setting that creates a registry entry that disables it. So perhaps unjoining that computer from the domain would take care of it. Now, in order to unjoin it from the domain, you're going to have to be connected to the domain at the time and be able to enter the domain administrator credentials. So if that computer comes to you with it still configured for the domain, you might have to do a full wipe and reload before you regain control over configurations.
If you knew the local administrator, if they gave you the local administrator username and password, you could just log in. You could just log in locally and not with the domain administrator.
Okay. Will that override the policies? The global policies.
Will that override the policies? I'm not sure, but I know that if you log in locally with a local and if you have the local administrator password, that will allow you to disjoin from the computer from the domain, even if the computer is not actually plugged into the network that the domain that the server was on. So if you got a computer that was an old computer from somebody that was configured for a domain, you could log in as a local administrator and disjoin the computer from the domain, join it back to a work group.
Okay. I have not tried that recently. I thought that I had tried that sometime in the past.
I had to do that in high school one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it still keep most of the settings still set as domain.
Okay.
In the registry.
So that would imply that there's still, you may still have some difficulties at hand without doing a wipe and reload. I cringe a little bit. Well, let me finish. Let me get this thought out, and then you respond to it, please.
Oh, okay.
If you, if that were allowed, if you could not be connected to the domain and unjoin the computer from the domain, join it to local work group, and thereby can regain full administrator control of that computer, I would think for a security point of view, you would not be able to reconnect it to the domain and log into the domain without the domain administrator's interaction, because that would be a security
You
vulnerability.
cannot.
Yeah,
Once
okay.
once you disjoin it from the domain using the local administrator account, you cannot rejoin it back to the domain
Okay.
without the domain administrator account.
That makes sense. You're cut off. You're cut off. Okay, that would be believable and feasible. Ken, did you have something to bring up?
No, I wanted to make sure the echo was gone.
Okay.
And
Oh,
then
that,
you have time later. I do have a Zoom question, but it's not on your list.
Yeah, that's okay. One of the things I think was on my, I don't know if it was on my list or on my, YouTube resolutions, I guess. I want to be sure that we're providing value to people who watch the videos later, which means talking about computer topics. And so if you have a topic that's not on my list, that's totally welcome, and that will be let's see, and actually that is already in my description right here. Other computer-related questions from the audience are welcome, because that means people could walk away having gained some value in their computer experience from watching our video.
hey, Doug,
Yes.
got two. One was going back with Alex a little bit. Very few places will give somebody an administrator password from the domain. Just isn't happening.
Right.
Ain't no way. And you know what? Are you getting that domain password? Number one. Number two, we don't even want people trying to run something as administrator on their own machine. Because when you get a program that's running and says you need administrator password or administrator rights to run this, that usually means it's up to no good. Not always.
Well,
But-
it certainly means it's a program that was not designed to work in a corporate security environment.
Exactly.
And in a corporate security environment, it should be disallowed.
And it is.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
So between the two, I mean, with the laptop in particular,
Hold it, Gary. Do you have your audio? We're
No.
hearing an echo. We're hearing a feedback from the YouTube.
no, not me.
You don't have any audio playing?
It's Ken, I believe.
Is it Ken?
Why don't
I
I
believe
get
so.
for this?
Ken, can you mute yourself so we can see how it goes with you?
Sure. I think it's picking up my fans, but hang on, I will mute myself.
Yeah, I do hear noise, background noise from you. Yeah, so if you could use a key press to speak. All right, go ahead, Gary.
Assuming that it's a small company we're talking about with the spouse's laptop, I was hard to believe that they didn't do a wipe on it before they gave it to them. I mean,
Yeah. I would think that should be corporate policy.
mandatory.
Yeah.
And number two, if you did that, if it was a Dell, HP, Lenovo, right off the bat, it would have the built-in in the BIOS, I know what I'm getting ready to say, the Windows activation code, so they could just, do the Windows creation tool, and Windows would load, it'd be activated, and they'd be ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
So it'd be simple.
Yeah. So once he gets it, and I'm again apologize, I don't remember who it was. It may come to him with a fresh Windows, out of the box experience.
Yeah.
That's the way it ought to be done. I mean, there ought to be a wipe done on the hard drive if it's a corporate security environment. If it's like this financial services company that I'm currently converting to a higher security environment, we are, as global group policies, we are allowing them to have local administrator rights on their computer, because we're pretty sure that they have software that is going to work smoother with that. And the
Right.
security that we've implemented in this environment is not as tight as it would be in your type of corporate environment.
But you still should wipe it when you give it to them to keep, unless you're going to be working from home with it.
Well, we don't know the actual level of security that the person that's in our audience is dealing
Yeah.
with. So they may
And
or
it
may
might be
not
one
do
or
that.
two person company also.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
Yeah.
And wiping it is a way to prevent a technically competent criminal from accessing data that might be somewhere on the drive. Well, if you're giving the computer to an employee to use for their home purposes, and it's a small company and a trusted person, and yeah, I think it's a little bit excessive to insist that security wipe be done in every instance.
Well, just a format though would still be, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, even just to go delete the partitions and do a fresh image of Windows, in my mind, it is going to be.
Especially after a year, it wouldn't hurt the machine anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also, if it's just a workstation on a network, if they're using proper security, there's probably no danger content, no private vulnerable content on the local drive anyway.
Yep.
So I'm very interested in going to grab one of those HP all-in-ones and show you that that option for disabling USBs in the BIOS, because I think it's a very rare feature, and it's kind of worth showing that it does exist on some computers.
When I was at college, I asked him, I asked the IT department if they locked down the BIOS and the computer so that somebody couldn't wipe the computer and put a fresh copy of Windows on it. They said no, they don't lock down any of the BIOSes on any of the computers, but they also said in that same breath that if I was to wipe one of their computers, I would get in some serious trouble.
Yeah.
But they don't technically do anything to stop me from doing it, except for telling me I would get in trouble.
Well, a lot of places, and I say that with knowing full well, the passwords, administrator passwords are not used daily. They're used when they're needed to, and people, I mean, it's like giving somebody the front key that never has to come in the front door. I mean, if you need to go unload your truck in the front door, here's the key, bring it back. No, there's no but to that one. You don't need the front key. Somebody doesn't need the administrator password daily, hourly. That's the point. There's a lot of places, think of what you do daily. How often do you need it? I don't even know the administrator password for this main servers. They're locked in a safe in case we lose somebody, but when I was younger, I had to have the passwords, because it was kind of a manly man thing. I had the top password. I could do whatever I wanted. Then I realized if I keyed it wrong, I screwed something main. Oops, misspelled that by 2 letters.
On our network at school, we went through every single computer and BIOS password protected every single computer that not even the IT department did on the rest of the college computers. So we were technically, I guess you say, more secure than the actual college IT department was.
Well, who had the password?
Me and my instructor in the IT department.
What, they fired you because they didn't like something you did? Now you have a disgruntled employee with a password.
Yes, but I'm the one that originally set everything up. So of course I would have the passwords.
Set it up and then I'll go change it, and then nobody, you got right now you're giving me the 2-factor thing and you have both the factors, 2-factor authentication. We don't do it that way because
I also had them all written down on a spreadsheet that once all of us that knew it all left, I was able to hand it off to the IT department and the new instructor and say, here you go, and give them the keys to the kingdom. because I
You
haven't
had it
been.
written down also. That's, no, you don't write down everything. It goes in a safe, and one person has a safe.
But the echo go away?
Yeah, I haven't heard any echo for a while.
Yeah, I think it's my new iPhone. I'm using that on an app from there as for the camera, and I think it's just got a really super sensitive microphone. This is back to the C170.
Hey, Ken,
Yes, sir.
you'll be buying the 14th next month when it comes out.
Yeah, really.
I'm joking.
I know.
Because we all kidded you that you were going to end up buying the 13th, didn't we? Remember?
I've been planning on buying 13 for about 2 months. That's no secret. But yeah, I remember everybody was saying I'm going to go try to fix one problem, end up buying a phone that still has the same problem.
And my car makes noise. Get a new car.
How about my
Yeah.
car is running low on gas? Go buy a new car.
I guess with that color on the HP, Doug, they're trying to mimic what Apple is doing with the new colored iMacs.
With this blue or aqua color.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of cutesy computer. Now remember, these are very old computers.
And the original Macs were like, not the original, but
Let's see, I've got that one is booting up into the.
hey, Doug, I got a Gary question for you. Why would you just want to disable one port if there's 4 ports or 3?
Well, for these computers, it turned out to be. I actually did disable the ports because these are used in those apartment buildings where they're a very uncontrolled environment. I didn't want people plugging in USB devices into the USB ports. Now, as a slight downside to that is I did have 2 of the USB ports active for keyboard and mouse. So if somebody were clever enough, they could connect a wireless.
They could unplug the mouse, and if they knew how to navigate around the computer with just the keyboard, they could use just the keyboard. But the likelihood of that in your situation, I would think, would be very slim to none.
Okay,
Or
Alex.
you could get a Logitech D400, which has both built in, or has a trackpad built in.
Okay, Alex, I'm going to ask you to try to not interrupt me mid-sentence, okay?
Okay.
I know you often know what I'm going to say next and can finish my sentence for me, but
I'm going to press my mute button, and then I'll forget about it when I want to say something.
I know you don't mean to be rude, but it drives me nuts. So they could disconnect both the keyboard and mouse that I have plugged in, plug in their own wireless keyboard mouse transceiver, and then have a free USB port to be able to connect. This thing's not powering on yet. What's up? That sounds better. Maybe.
And then you know what happens, Doug? They forget about their wireless mouse transceiver when they leave, and it stays in the computer, and then they wonder what happened to it when they try to go back and use it again.
Well, that's actually something I do a lot. I brought a laptop from a client here, and she started packing it up, and I noticed she had a wireless keyboard mouse dongle, and I asked her to unplug that, and you keep that here because I don't need that. And then she started putting the laptop in the bag, and after she had it almost all the way in, started zipping up, I said, wait a minute, don't give me the bag. I just want the laptop and the power, because I cannot count the number of times that I've returned a laptop to a client, maybe taken it back to their office and left it on their desk, and forgot to give them their bag back. Because I can't keep their bag here with the laptop on the desk. I do that all the time.
The last computer I worked on, I specifically asked them I specifically asked people not to unplug all that stuff, but I still managed to find a USB receiver in the back of it was one of those all-in-one again.
Yeah, they forget. And I need to be good about checking the ports when I pick up a computer, because even like a desktop computer like this one, if I take it away from their office and don't check the USB ports, when I get it here, I might unplug that USB dongle for whatever reason and then forget to put it back in. And I have gone to the extent of even taping it onto the case, onto the computer itself, so I don't forget it. So here I've got this computer powered up. I have a HDMI cable connected. I've got to go make an adjustment on my XSplit configuration. So the screen's going to get a little bit weird here as I go through a few clicks to make it capture the HDMI input instead of the VGA input that's coming from my computer number 3. And now, why does that say webcam? That's Lenovo. It shouldn't say webcam there. Oh, no, it doesn't. It says the capture device. So then I change the input setting, video input setting for that capture device, so that it uses HDMI instead of VGA, and that should give us the right screen, and so far it's not. It looks like it's connected. Maybe I need to restart again, so it should probably not stay on that button. There, I can do that one. Save changes and exit, because I think maybe I have to restart the computer when that cable is connected. And sometimes this HDMI output won't work until I actually get a Windows driver. Ah, there it is. It is there. So now let's go see if this is going to make a liar out of me, because I have not recently checked this, and it was years ago that I did that configuration. Storage, security, power, advanced. The most likely one there seems to be power, and bus options or device options. Not there. I'm starting to get nervous. Oh, which one is this? Yeah, that's. There were 2 different sites involved. So I was just starting to question myself whether it's only some of these. Oh, here, how about USB security? There we go, bingo. USB port 0, 1, and 2. Rear USB ports, enable USB ports, so I can individually disable these. Comprende? Hello, I'm not hearing from anybody.
You told us not to say anything because you wanted to approve this.
I had asked you not to interrupt me.
I hear you.
Okay.
I hate.
Aprende.
I hate that. I hate that style of BIOS.
All right.
I'm all right. I just like how that BIOS looks. It looks like an old. I don't understand why they put a really old BIOS that looks like it's from 2000 or something on a newer computer.
Who says this isn't? Oh, wait a minute! I told you this is not a new computer. This is an old computer.
And they don't have a lot of room for the newer graphics and whatnot.
They don't have a lot of room?
In memory, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. The newer graphic BIOSes take more memory. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but the point is that we do see different options on different BIOSes, and it carries into recent BIOSes a lot, and from one manufacturer to another, even one version to another of the BIOSes, there are quite a significant amount of differences that occur. But this is a computer that has BIOS capability of disabling individual USB ports. So that just shows that, yes, it's a thing.
Have you ever seen it anyplace else?
No. I've never seen it anyplace else, but then again, I have never intentionally gone looking for it. The only reason why I went looking for it on these computers is because of the environment that they were going to be used in. So what are the odds that the only computers that I'm interested in making this change happen to have that capability? So I haven't checked this on other computers. I don't know how common or how rare it is.
Yeah.
But it is here. So.
Well, that's the problem with USB, because you got a mouse and a keyboard almost all the time, except where you have a trackpad and you just have a keyboard that people like.
Yeah, now I do have another client who has HP all-in-ones, or used to. We've actually cycled them all out of operation now. But they had a different thing. They had a cover on the back of the case, on the back side, that you snapped off, and it was rather difficult to do. And I think I even had to remove the stand in order to get to it. And it had a USB slot in there for a wireless keyboard mouse transceiver. Now, I suspect that was to provide the capability to disable all of the exterior USB ports and still be able to have wireless keyboard and mouse functional by having that buried inside the cabinet. I haven't checked on those computers, and I do have one of those here, I think, to see if USB ports can be disabled on those.
And you got to give some trust to your employees if they do it. You don't want them to, but.
Yeah, well, in the environment that those computers came from, it was not an issue. We weren't trying to disable those. So,
yeah.
Hello, Jeff.
Good morning. Yeah, the last place I worked, they didn't disable it, but if you got caught putting in a USB stick or a CD or anything, and something got on your system, it was a termination offense.
Oh, yeah.
They'd see at your next job.
When I was in high school, they always used to tell us no USB port, no USB drives on any of the computers, even though I was given a USB flash drive by the school to copy my work to. I would still get fussed at for plugging it in, and even if it's just a Word document or something I had on there too, or PowerPoint to copy off or something.
Well, I had a hard time working on stuff at home because I couldn't copy it to a flash drive or CD or whatever and take it back and forth. I finally ended up doing it by email, which I'm not sure was really that secure either, but it wasn't forbidden.
Or these days you could use any kind of like cloud storage like Google Drive or Dropbox or anything.
Well, we had our own cloud though. I mean, it was a Microsoft shop in the sense we had our whatever all that stuff's called. It's been too many years since I was there now. But
Let me go catch up with chat. Let's see. Here's where I left off. Then Ken, yes, will do. I think probably after I finish this round of catching up with chat, we'll come to your Zoom question. And Rick says hello. Chris Garrett says my HP Elite 8300, you can disable the USB ports individually. Now, is that in BIOS, Chris, or is that in Device Manager that you're doing that? I'm assuming that you mean BIOS, since that's kind of what we are talking about here. And hello, Ida says don't see the need to disable USB ports unless it's on a business environment where employees aren't allowed But the BIOS should be protected with a password. Yes, and I did do that on these computers as well, as I protected the BIOS with a password. I did not protect the boot up with a password because I didn't want the residents in those apartment buildings to have to enter a password in order to restart the computer. So they could restart the computer without a BIOS, without a startup password, but if they press the key to get into BIOS, it would prompt for a password, which of course they didn't have. I worked somewhere that had HP business models. They disabled USB ports, but never put the password on the BIOS. Yeah. So the security measures in companies can have holes, and yeah, that's a thing. Happy New Year. Poor Ken always picking on him. Happy New Year. Good evening. Ida, doesn't make any sense to me if they don't usually was the employee that hacked everything to do what I wanted. Okay, well, that's a conversation between Ida and Chris, so I didn't read that very well, or maybe there's a typo in there. Hello, good morning. Seldom, too often there are people who like to play practical jokes on others. It seems that it's a lot less common than it used to be. Okay, I'm laughing because my first job that had to do with computers, I'm trying to think what was the year, late 80s, I guess, must have been. No, I remember in 1985 I had an injury while I was at that job. So 1985. It was DOS-based computers. I had found a TSR program, I think by virtue of the PC users group that I was involved in, that had an insults TSR. TSR is a terminate and stay resident. So it's a program that would run when you boot up the computer, and it would stay resident in memory. And what would happen is anytime at a DOS prompt, when they just press the enter key, it would give this really long insult. Just a random, strange word insult, no matter what you type. That was one of the early days. Another practical joke was on a DOS screen. After a period of time, the letters would just start falling. Letters, wherever they are on the screen, just start falling down the screen.
We did that sort of thing on punch cards back in the day. Somebody would be developing a program for a class. And when they weren't looking, we would insert a card with a write statement in it to write something on the screen that was insulting. And it would get compiled with their program. And when they ran the program, it would be something like, what idiot wrote this program or whatever. There were some people who thought it was the system.
These insults were clever in the sense that they weren't vulgar.
Well, this wasn't either. So
yeah, something like, I'm going to try to make one up. You're a steaming pile of rotting vegetables simmering in a stew of something or other. Just,
The Grinch.
Completely G-rated, but they're funny insults.
So you forgot what you made up.
Say again?
You forgot what you made up. Is what you're saying. In other words, I'm giving you credit for all the mess.
Oh, giving me credit for making up the insults?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't that clever. They were funny. I'd run them on myself just to get a laugh. So it sort of pertains to my Zoom question, and Selden, whatever Selden said, too often there are people who like to play practical jokes. Seems
They'd swap the keyboards and mouses to the different computers.
Oh,
in college.
I had a client who called me and said, I think somebody is taking over my computer because my mouse is moving around the screen and clicking on things and launching programs, and I'm not doing it. And what I found is that a mouse at another person's desk that was 5 desks away and separated by 2 walls, wireless mouse, was actually communicating with the transceiver on my victim's computer. So to figure this out, since there was 2 walls between, I set up 2 people to kind of relay communications, verbal. I said, okay, now point the mouse to the icon that's in the upper right corner. So the person at the offending desk would do that, and then the person would say now. The first person standing there would say now, and the next person would say okay now. And I look at the screen, and yes, indeed, the mouse moved up to that corner, and that's how we proved it. I've never seen that again. Never before.
I had somebody swap a monitor out on me because I was using double screens, thankfully. But I had somebody swap one of my flat screen Dell monitors for one of those really old CRT monitors.
Yeah.
And when I got in there, I was like, "What the heck going on?" So I had them switch it back, and apparently I never figured out who done it, but somebody in another class had a big laugh because they knew I said that.
Yeah. So Selden Bell here says just plug in a USB hub. That would be another way to defeat when I disabled 2 of the USB ports. I can thank you.
I like that.
You like the hub idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Easy solution. A lot of security implementations can be easily defeated. Of course, probably most of you have seen some YouTube videos where people defeat physical locks on buildings with very simple devices.
I guess that is where PS2 ports would come in handy. So if you had a newer computer with the PS2 ports, or just one that's a combo port, you can get an adapter to connect a PS2 keyboard and a PS2 mouse, and then lock down all the USB ports so that nobody ever can.
Right. Now that's one justification for PS2 ports to still exist. And for those who don't know, PS2 port is a mouse or keyboard that has a round connector that has, 5, 6, 7 pins in it. And it fits into, obviously, a round port on the computer that's specifically for mouse or keyboard. But another use that I've seen why gamers like to have those is that a PS2 keyboard and mouse has better response time than a USB device. You have to be a really high-end gamer, I think, to really notice that difference. Alex, do you confirm that is a thing among gamers? Do you know that?
I don't know. I haven't. All my keyboards are USB and mouses are USB. But my mom's computer has a combo PS2 port one PS2 port that can support either a mouse or keyboard that's half purple and half green.
Oh yeah, right, because that's a port that could use either device.
There are adapters as well to go from PS2 to USB.
Yeah, but if you're taking a PS2 keyboard using an adapter to plug it into USB, then that would defeat the response time.
Right. I've seen them the other way around more often.
Yeah.
When computers.
I was going to ask if you could go the other way around.
I had missed the IBM M keyboards, the heavy ones on the computers.
You missed them?
Oh God, yes.
Oh.
Yes. Oh.
With the
They're still made by an outfit in Kentucky someplace.
USB, they're like $200 or something.
Well, they're a little over $100.
Okay.
I thought about buying one for my build, but I ended up buying a Logitech mechanical keyboard with similar switches.
I have a huge box of excess keyboards in my car right now. I'm going to take them to electronics recycling.
Yeah, I got like 3 or 4 of them in the cabinet.
Yeah. That's a occupational hazard. Equipment just accumulates. Let's see. Usually it enables all USB ports, maybe due to HP custom-made BIOS for their proprietary hardware. Yeah. Chris. What? Usually it enables all USB ports, and maybe due to HP custom-made BIOS for the proprietary hardware. I'm not quite sure what the "it" is that Chris is referring to. Does anybody in the Zoom session know what he's referring to? I mean, usually computers come with all USB ports enabled. Was he referring to that hub idea? Selden just put, no, plugging in a hub isn't going to enable USB ports. They're already enabled. So
I've had a
Chris-
lot of HP computers, and they typically dumb down what you can do in the BIOS. You don't get a very granular.
Right. And especially the ones that are designed for consumer use rather than business. I would think a business model would more likely have that kind of granularity.
Well,
But
we used
don't know.
HPs the last place I worked, but the BIOS was password protected.
So
I
you don't
couldn't
know.
see how they had things set up.
Word macros connect as virus and malware. Yes, absolutely. The rules set up by different companies sometimes make no sense. They do not allow some storage devices, while the ones they do allow are just as bad. It makes sense. Nice background. Oops, I went too far. Nice background is Windows installed. That's between Jeff and Ken. Let's see, where's Ken's background? Actually, I like Ken's background right now a whole lot. Yep, I do.
On the Dell computers we had set up at college, somebody could get into the BIOS and you could see the settings in the BIOS, but with the password enabled, you just couldn't change anything, but you could actually see what was configured. You just couldn't.
Yes, I have seen that. In fact, I think this one has that capability where there is a read-only password and there is a full admin password, so you can get into the BIOS to see but not edit.
But that's how those computers were set up, and with the BIOS password on there, that also prevented people from booting off putting a USB drive in there and trying to boot up off a USB drive or boot up off the network.
Yeah. All right. Ken, so the matrix began way back then. That's a conversation, I think. Tony, maybe. Chris, disabling USB ports and USB port boot, adding BIOS password, blocking hosting services through the router or Raspberry Pi should solve problems while still getting access to the PC and internet. Okay. I'm not going to... Let's see. Disabling USB ports and USB boot. Okay, got it. Adding BIOS password. Got it. Blocking hosting services through the router and or Raspberry Pi should solve problems while still getting access to the PC and internet. Yeah, I'm not familiar on that area, hosting services through the router. But
my best guess as to what he means is like if somebody set up some like web server on like a Raspberry Pi or some DNS server on a Raspberry Pi, it would block access. He would block access to that some way.
Okay. So that would be somebody trying to hack the office from the inside.
Doug?
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually Thursday got called to work. I had last week off. I got called to work because we found a Raspberry Pi.
Oh.
And seriously, yeah.
Wow.
They didn't know what it was, but it was connected behind the PC, one of our scanners.
Yeah.
And they said, because it got dropped, and they thought, oh my God, they dropped, and they called the right people. They ended up calling me and saying what it was going on over the firewalls every day.
Wow.
And we don't know what's going on. We actually called the police, and they called the FBI.
All right.
So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on right now.
I'd be interested to find out if you eventually learned that it was a penetration test error.
I bet you it wasn't. We don't know yet. Now that in part two, it was somebody that came in or somebody that was logged in.
Yeah, the Darknet Diaries podcast tells stories of the people who do that work, who do the penetration testing, and that's exactly one of the techniques that they would do, is to put a Raspberry
And the worst
Pi.
part is I can't keep. No, that's a joke.
You can't
I
keep
thought
what?
I can't keep it.
Oh, right, yeah.
If you really want one, I've got an old one I'll send you for the price of shipping.
How old? Seriously?
Raspberry Pi 2B or 3, I don't remember now.
I have a 3B plus, but I
I'd
don't
have
want
to
to send it
look.
to you.
It's in a box someplace.
Whatever.
All right, continuing to catch up. I updated the BIOS before I went to sleep. Need to install DVD reader first. That's actually a conversation going on. Yes, I remember that was last year. I forgot. I need to stop reading the conversations, I think. Adding a touchscreen would eliminate PS2 USB ports need. To completely operate a computer touch screen in order to eliminate the need for keyboard and mouse. Wow, that would be rather limited computer experience, I think.
I hate touchscreens personally.
Yeah.
Amen.
They get smudgy too quick.
The zone is asking what is the issue today. We're talking on a variety of topics. I have a list of topics that I'm offering that's in the description that you go look at. Chris, if you want to pick a topic here that you'd like to look at, these are like me to talk about or show, depending upon what it is, but we don't have to do all of those or any of them. As long as the things that we're talking about, I feel, are useful to people who would be watching the video later, that they could be picking up some advances in technical knowledge that could be of use to them. That's my priorities. demeanor, I'm using KVM, that's keyboard video mouse switch with a PS2 KM. Ken Stout, the list of things in the description, he's telling that to the zone. Mechanical keyboards can be annoyingly noisy. I looked at some keyboards recently that were being proposed to gamers that actually they liked having the sound. Interesting. Thanks. Are we on topic 3? Yes, sort of think so. Are we really talking topic 3 right now? Yeah, USB ports. We kind of have been on that for a little bit. PS2Y splitters. Thanks. Just joined. Sam Lazar's here. Hello, Sam. Once again, someone messed up with BIOS, did the wrong settings. I fixed it. CPU fan error. Original Pi. Sam has an original Pi. I always do BIOS updates on the computer I'm working on. I do not. Chris, CD, DVD reader, writer from prehistoric age. I have a coworker with the loudest keyboard. Okay, caught up. Ken, what was your Zoom? And I'm recognizing Catherine's question, what about the laptops? I think that means the laptop that I brought in here. I'll take that after we deal with Ken's Zoom question. That is one of the people that I've done videos with. She apparently has a question. Oh, you know what? She frequently gets, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call her back. And I'm going to let her know that I'm on a recording. And because she tends to get pop-up scam viruses. Now she's ghosting me.
Hello?
Hi, Marge. This is Doug. I need to let you know right away that I have my machine doing a video right now. So there is an audience. I'm calling you back because I was thinking maybe you got another one of those pop-up viruses.
Oh dear, I hope not. It's just not printing. When I put control print, it just prints the beginning page that says, I can't remember, it says it won't work. And then I can't get anything else to print. So, what's your schedule? Will you be able to?
Well, is it okay for me to connect right now and have a look at that?
Sure.
And I'll just go ahead and make that part of this video that I'm doing right now. And let's see, let me pull you up on my connections list. And Log in. Whoops, I did that wrong. Try again. Happy New Year, Marge.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you.
Did you stay up till midnight?
Yes, I did.
You did.
Of course, I stay up till midnight every night.
Oh.
But I got all ready for bed and I had a drink, which I seldom do. And about 10 minutes after 12, I was in bed.
All right, all right. Well, you beat me. I did not stay up till midnight here. I celebrated midnight with some East Coast people, and then I went to bed.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I see I have your computer on screen, and you've been doing a Control P to try to print that, right?
That's what I was trying to do.
All right.
You never get that Control P. It never works. So I'd like to see if there's another way where I can print things.
Okay. Well, it's always going to depend upon what you're trying to print and what program you're trying to print it from. You're trying to print this from a web browser here. This is Google Chrome. I know that because I see your Google Chrome
Yes.
highlighted down here. And there's your Google Chrome is wanting to update some settings and reload this page, so you could have some difficulties with whatever you're trying to do because it's wanting to do whatever this settings reload is. And then I see menu options over here. Here's a print as PDF. Have you tried that method?
No, I don't know how to do that.
Okay, well, here's your document. You've been trying a Control P, and that didn't work for you. So let's just go straight to this method over here. I'm going to click on this menu option here, and then click on Print as PDF. And let's see if that works. So that's going to open it in another tab as a PDF. And now we have different capabilities for actually doing a print command. So this actually just opened it as a PDF. It hasn't sent it to your printer yet. Now at this point, a Control P might work for you, but we should also have, I would expect a printer icon on this toolbar, and it's not there. I don't see an obvious printer icon up here. And I'm going to try
I
it.
couldn't find a printer icon anyplace in it.
Yeah. Okay, now let's see, what am I missing? I'm going to try a Control P here. This looks encouraging. Is this
Yes, it does.
is this the right printer?
5 sets of paper. It said before it said 1 sheet of paper, and all it was going to print is that beginning where it says it can't do it.
Yeah, it was probably only going to print perhaps what was visible on the screen at that time. Because I think that would have maybe just been printing a screenshot. Is this the right printer? Is that the right printer there, Marge?
No, 7855.
All right. That's close enough. A lot of times the printer driver is actually a series number. So 7855 would be in the 7800 series. So I'm going to try clicking print, and let's see if it prints for you. I can hear it.
Yes, it is.
I can hear it. Do you want me to do a quick review of how we did that?
Yes, while it's printing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm going to close this tab. This brings us back to where you were at. And then what we did here is clicked on this menu button up here where I'm pointing with the mouse right now. Do you see that?
Yes.
I click on that. And then this option says print as PDF, but it's not actually going to do it yet. It's just going to open it into another tab as a PDF. So here I'm clicking on that. Now here's this new tab showing up. This tab over here was your...
Opens into
Yeah. See,
It opens
into a new tab. It's a new browser tab.
a what kind of tab?
Browser tab.
A browser tab, okay.
Yeah. The Google. Your printer's making a lot of noise. I know it's probably hard to hear me right now. Is that right?
Yeah, just printing.
Yeah.
But I'm happy there's printing, you know, because I wanted to say this, and
All right.
it's
So,
my cousin's memorial service, and
oh,
I'm
sorry.
going to try to zoom in on it on the 8th, but
Oh, okay.
I'm not real good at it.
Well, sorry for your loss. So,
So this will work. Next time I want to do it, I'll just hit that one with the 3 lines, and
Yeah.
then it will open into a PDF.
yeah, there's 3 lines right here, and click on this one. Now notice right now there's only one browser tab up here. This looks like a file folder tab that you might have in a file cabinet, and where it's going to open up another tab right here. So here I click on print as PDF, and here's that new tab. Do you see how these look like manila file folder tabs?
Right.
Yeah. So now we're on this new tab, and it's opened it as a PDF, which is a different kind of a file. And then from here, you can do the Control P that you're used to doing. So here I'm pressing Control P. It brings up this window, and then you just click Print.
Okay, good.
Okay?
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Marge. Have a good day. Talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good year, too.
All right, you too.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. And disconnect from that. And okay, you guys in Zoom can unmute yourselves.
I'm sorry, Doug. I didn't have myself muted on Zoom because I just have a physical mute button on my microphone here.
Oh, okay. Well, I when I started with Marge, I went over and I muted all of you. And
That's what I figured it
assuming
was.
that you would have understood that. Because that would have been rather confusing to her if she heard your voices or background noise with me. I think I was going through chat, wasn't I? When that call came in? Okay, you're not answering me,
Yes.
so I'm just going to move forward.
Oh.
I show my clients RGB when we go shopping for technology, and they always say RGB is stupid or not needed. Oh, yeah. So, I'm right with you there. I'm saying clients, businesses, I have no use for RGB. Chris, laptop defective screen, live diagnosis kind of caught my interest. Okay, well, since Catherine asked for that, we're going to be going on to that after Ken's Zoom question. I have some engineering software that is distributed only on DVDs. I have clients that still need DVD drives. The Zone, download it. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to go. I have a coworker with a Lattice keyboard. I'm not sure what that was referring to, so I'll just move on. 3 dots on the top and then print. Yeah, so Ido's giving us the answer to that. Yes, I was trying to say that. Oh, download. Oh, he's probably suggesting to download the PDF. Now, her PDF was obviously defaulting to the browser. Could I have changed her PDF to do Adobe Acrobat Reader? Yes, I could have, but you know a Windows update is going to change it back. So she doesn't have enough awareness of the distinction between them. So I tend to try to make as few changes as possible and try to keep her on what she's has in front of her. Ida, 3 dots on the top and print, is trying to say. Soundbar came with a DVD and with the manual on it. Also has a physical manual. Okay. The Zone, this won't always work as different sites have difficult ways to make as PDF. Well, yeah, it's it. She's going to call me again with a printing issue. She's called before, and I don't try to fix her knowledge permanently. She's, I mean, some people aren't going to get there, and she's one of those, and she's fine with that. She knows it, but she she calls me, and I'm just happy to help her, particularly since she started letting me do these on videos. Greg, hello, Doug and chat. Hello to you, Greg. External USB DVD drive can be handy for those specific use cases. Catherine used the steps recorder to create a manual for her. Yeah, I've tried that before. I've tried giving her videos of how to do things, and I've done that for some of my clients, and basically they don't have the presence of mind to go look at it or even comprehend it, frankly. So there's some people that I just help them when they call.
And Doug, I have a comment for that person in chat about the engineering software that only comes on DVDs.
Yeah.
Because I would rather not type it. It'd take me forever to type it. But couldn't you just have one computer with the DVD drive, read that DVD from the manufacturer on that one computer, and then convert those DVDs to ISO images, save them somewhere, and be able to use them on the other computers, so that you wouldn't only need one DVD drive?
I could do that, but on the other hand, this software occupies 7 DVDs. It's pretty full. And it's got, the only reason it's still distributed on the DVDs is because it's so large.
Wow.
And I do have an external DVD drive, but on this computer I'm building, I had an old new in the box DVD drive that was unused, and so I thought, why not simply install it? I didn't have to pay any more money for it.
All right.
So done.
Alex, I think was someone else involved in that conversation too. Chris Garrett. So was the question originally come from Jeff?
Well, no, somebody commented that was old technology, and I just explained to Chris McGraw why I was installing it, because I have this software that needs it.
No, I have, well, yes, it's old technologies, but so are credit cards, and we still use them.
I still have a 3.5-inch floppy drive that hooks on a USB, rarely used.
Yeah,
but is there.
And still, you may need it from sometimes. But
I have a few old floppy drives. They're probably lost all their data by now.
I have clients who still need DVD drives for exchanging medical information. That's a very common thing.
When I had a CT scan a few years ago, the place I had it gave me the scan on a CD and said, "Here, take this to your doctor."
Yeah. And chiropractor, medical doctors, law offices that deal with medical issues. I'm finding DVDs are still in use.
Yeah, I tried to put one of those just like that in my computer to see if I could read it, but it was a no-go. I couldn't read it because it was in their proprietary software.
Well, you need the right software to read them. That's correct.
I have a task to do for a client this weekend, that they have an annual update for a software program that comes on DVD. She sent me an email. The way I have it set up currently, this software needs to install on the server, but the server doesn't have a DVD drive. They're rack mount servers. So what I do is have her put the CD in her computer's DVD drive, and I share that. And so from the server, I connect to that DVD drive and then perform the installation on the server over the network. Now I could create an ISO image and mount that onto the server, but that's actually more work. I can connect remotely to both the server and her computer and start the process and walk away and come back whatever amount of time later, and it works fine. It takes less of my time that way.
Doug?
Yes.
You were talking about medical and law. Let's say you're in a car accident and disabled for life. Some of those cases go back 20, 30 years in Michigan with no fault insurance. And they're still passing back CDs that literally are 30 years old.
Right.
So necessary.
Yeah. And what do they do for long-term storage in those events? A CD could be a convenient thing to be storing in a physical file.
Usually they go in the boxes, same thing all the other.
Yeah. And
I have a external DVD writer that will write an M disc. I don't know if you've heard of those. They're a supposedly an alternate method of writing CDs and DVDs that will last 100 years.
Oh.
They're expensive discs, but if you had something like that, like in a medical case, you might want to use it, or something legal.
Is that those small discs? Those really small discs
No,
that some software
standard
comes on?
size. Standard size. It's just a different laser and a different means of writing it. I don't remember the difference in the technology right now. I could look it up online on Wikipedia or something, but it's available.
All right, let me go do some more catch up here. Sam says, I used to run a script which forces Windows not to change the default PDF software. Madi Yoel with $5. Thank you, Madi. And I do have a couple items in the list of available topics about my income from the consulting business and income from YouTube. I recently got my first check from YouTube. It was over $400. And I'm willing to talk about numbers for my business and for YouTube because I want to encourage other people to do this kind of work. And I don't know if that's something that people are interested in or not.
I saw an article online the other day purporting to tell how much some of the really big YouTube creators make. And the numbers varied all over the place.
Yeah, they do. They do.
So you can't just say because somebody has 3 million subscribers, he's making X amount of dollars. Depends on the topic.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of variables involved. And in my case, I think mine's starting out a lot better than most channels at my level because we have some very generous people involved here that actually
$400 is more than the 400 more than nothing, just doing it for fun.
Yeah, it is. And so, and that is a necessary component for me doing this. It is part of my intended business revenue and report as my business revenue income. So I very much appreciate those of you who are in a position to be able to support financially, but that's not the only form of support. And I have that in my my standing description of my videos. You're supporting my channel with any of the following: the participation, the technical conversations, all the things listed here. And if you're in a position to support financially, man, I love you for that. And it is important and necessary for me to justify continuing with this. But I don't want people to feel, like they're anything less because they're not doing that. Some people are in a position that they can afford that. Hey, that's great. Happy for them. Not everybody is. Please don't feel any pressure to do that. So continuing, I will always have a DVD drive from Chris. Oh, interesting. Sam, I sometimes send a manual to a client if needed. Catherine, RGB is stupid, especially for business systems because it lowers performance, especially the ICUE from Corsair, taking up a lot of performance. There is video on RGB bloatware on the GN channel. And that's a conversation between Catherine and Sam. Ryan, Rainful1, Happy New Year's. Good to see you, Ryan. And cash is even older than credit cards. That's right, and we still use it. The Zone, I hate when this happens, but now another channel I watch is streaming, which to watch. The Zone, you can catch up on this video after it's done. If you want to go watch the other live streaming, up to you. I have no offense over it. Chris, that is why I love the RGB software from MSI, RGB controller from Cougar Gaming. From my Cougar Panzer EVO RGB case, I don't use MSI software. Dragon Center is not great for that. I respect that some people enjoy the RGB. It's certainly not going to happen in business, but individuals more likely where that's going to happen. And I'm not going to throw in with Catherine's comment about it being stupid, except that she is saying especially for business. So I guess she's allowing for personal use. Let's see. I already did that. I don't use OMG medical imaging system. Still making CDs to save the images. Some hellos going on. Michael still use 1.44 USB to keep his list of DVD libraries. USB. Chris McGraw. Last I used a USB floppy disk drive. Used a Tinsel 3.1 on a virtual machine. Marty UL with $10. Thank you, Marty. Marty, okay, I will. SOTPLA. I don't know what that means. Anybody in Zoom know what SOTP is?
Stop laughing my
Say again.
Stop laughing my ass off.
Stop. Oh, it's a typo. Okay, I will stop laughing my ass off. I saw that I just saw that YouTube added a go-to channel feature. Go-to channel feature. Anybody know what he's referring to? I don't. A go-to channel feature. Yeah, I don't know. Go-to channel. All right, I will find it eventually. Gary with $5. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Hen. If a client has RGB, they would want a static color or not at all. And Catherine, yes, she allows for personal use. I thought so. I thought so.
I have a question, Doug.
Go ahead.
Is it possible to find a non-smart 1080p TV around the 32-inch range anymore, or are all the TVs that I'm going to find for the most part going to be smart TVs?
I don't know. So 10, you said 1080p, right?
Right.
I'm not even aware that television uses the 1080p designation. Monitors do. Is it possible to get a TV that is not smart? I'm guessing that the technology is inexpensive enough for a TV that they might all have that included, but I don't know. A Google search?
Because my TV is older than the hills and it's only 720, and I've had with having my computer plugged in, and all that, using it as a second screen, sometimes it'll give me, the TV itself will give me a resolution issue. So I have to unplug the HDMI cable and plug it back in again in order to get it to work. So I thought if I got a new TV that was 1080p capable, it might fix the issue.
But you want to get one that's not a smart TV, meaning it doesn't have a direct internet connection?
If I could, if it'd be cheaper, because I really don't need it to be smart, because I already have all the smart devices, and as long as I have enough HDMI connections and an audio out, that's really all I need.
What is a smart TV?
Say again, Gary?
What is a smart TV? I mean,
a smart TV would be one that has direct internet connectivity, where you could either connect.
I think they've all had that for at least 10 years that I know of. I'm sure you can find one off center someplace, but
yeah, I don't know. I would think it'd probably be pretty common, because I don't think it would be very expensive.
Yeah.
So you'd have to just go Google search that, or search television. I don't care to go down that road here and now. So, and you know how to do searches, so I'll leave that.
I know, just something I thought I'd bring up for.
Okay. Yeah, because somebody might happen to know, and I think there are some replies in chat that I haven't got to yet. Well, RGB, I set it up to CPU temperature, full stop. Okay, I'm going to start skipping through these a little quicker. I like some RGB, not over the top, but can't have it because of seizure. Easily only can play good graphical
This might answer
games.
your question. According to Mayo Clinic, your doctor may decide not to start treatment for a seizure until you've had more than one. Treatment often involves the use of anti-seizure medications. Finding the right medication and dosage can be complex. If anti-seizure medications don't work, other treatments may include surgery or implanting a device that sends signals to your brain to stop or prevent seizures. Following a diet
really
that's high in
confused
fat and
now.
low in carbohydrates may also improve seizure control.
Guessing my audio is not working, or is it?
Alexa, who asked you?
Right now, it's you I'm talking to.
I didn't talk to you.
God.
You said the right key phrase.
I don't know what I said there. I must have said something that sounded like the trigger word.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
said seizure.
Yeah, I remember. Well, that's what she was talking about, a seizure. But I must have said something prior to that that sounded like.
Did you say Alex's name and mistook
Oh, that could,
Alex for
Yeah.
Alexa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that could be. Well, she didn't trigger off of you just saying her name, but
Well, maybe it's a
Right.
California accent thing.
You might change the trigger word to a computer or something.
yeah, if it happens enough, or I could. I can just press this. There's a thing with a
physical
line through
mute
it.
button.
Yeah, it's just a physical mute button, so she won't catch anything. Alexa, you can't respond to me right now. I can say your name as much as I want, Alexa.
Pull the plug.
They're triplets here. I have 3 of them. It's a
Why?
disease.
Why 3?
Oh, I use them a lot. I seriously use this device more than I use my cell phone. I use it a lot. 1 wasn't enough, so I bought a second one. 2 weren't enough. I bought a 3rd one.
The Amazon Echo Dots, those have an audio output, so you could connect it to a stereo system, and then just Amazon has remotes that you can just buy the remote and carry the remote around in your pocket, and that way you only need to have one if you've got a powerful enough stereo system that you can hear it.
I have Alexa on my smartwatch, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, well, I've got the app on my phone. I can control it remotely, and I can, when I have it play music, I can have it play music on the Everywhere group, which means it's coming out through all the devices. One of the devices, I have external speakers connected to it, so the volume's a little louder. All right, going back to catch up. Let's see. Check the dots by the name. It's an option to go to channel. They took it away, but okay, that's right over here. If I come over here to the, let's see, who's somebody that I know. I'll go to Catherine's channel. So I'll right-click on Catherine's icon here. No, that's not go to channel. Is it out here? No, none of those. I'm not seeing it. It used to be in chat. Oh, on here. Maybe this is it. Click on Catherine's name. No, I'm not seeing it. It used to have a go to channel here. I could just click on, I don't remember if it was the icon or the person's name. That's not happening here. I would like for them to bring that back because I do like that. When you tap the 3 lines on live chat, you go to their channel. All right, the 3 lines. These are 3 dots, not 3 lines. When you tap the 3 lines on live chat, you go to their channel. Pin message, report, remove. Timeout, hide, remove. Yeah, I'm still not seeing it. I'd very much like to know that. A live chat message. These are live chat messages.
On my side, I can go to Catherine's channel on the 3 dots, but you can't.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, because you're hosting a live video right now.
Oh, okay. So you,
Yep.
all you guys watching this right now, you can go out to the three dots and there's a go-to channel.
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. I like that they brought that back. Because it's really hard to find. If you go search somebody's name, they may not turn up in the YouTube search results very easily. So it's nice to be able to go to somebody's channel. You can subscribe or see what they're about or whatever you're interested in. So here's Sam saying a 1080p or FHD TV is so rare in Australia, brand new, that it's now 4K smart TV only. Okay. Catherine, buy a smart TV. No, not connected to the router. It is stupid. AF. I don't know what AF is. Buy a smart.
It's obscene.
Huh? Oh, okay.
It's obscene.
All right, good enough. I won't look for that anymore. Buy a smart TV. Not connected to router. Oh, I guess you're saying if you buy a smart TV and not connected to a router, that'd be stupid. Yeah, if you're buying a smart TV, you ought to be connecting to the router. I agree with that. But for some reason, Alex is interested in getting a. Actually, it sounds like he just wants to save the money, that he doesn't need a TV to interact with the internet. And I can buy that. I don't see much of a need to have a TV interact with the internet. I got this great big, huge flat screen TV. I haven't turned it on in months. Right now, it's not even connected correctly to the internet because I got a new Comcast box, and I just never set it up for the TV because I never watch it. Yep, 1080 is standard resolution, a 1080 Magnavox. 1080p was a standard years ago. Oops, the screen just jumped on me, not smart. Could you send me the Zoom access? Catherine, yeah. Let's see, it's Catherine. Did you send me an email, Catherine? That's, I have your email address, Catherine. I'll bring Zoom up. That way I can go, ooh, I didn't do a recent copy of the Zoom credentials. Ken, can you send Catherine the credentials for this Zoom session?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, because I know you.
I just did as well.
Oh, okay, great.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
good. Sounds good. How am I going to get to your question, Ken, if I can't catch up on this?
I'll just keep through to chat. You'll find it.
What?
I put a comment in chat. You'll get there eventually.
Oh, it's about $150 2 years ago. Parker Morris, I'm having a hard time setting up wireless printer to print wirelessly. Parker, you asked about that quite a while back, and we had some email exchanges. We are all ready to do a Zoom session, and then you sent me an email saying, never mind, Doug, with no explanation. And then it became clear that you were still having a hard time. I need to do this in a Zoom session with you and be able to connect remotely. It's pointless for me to try to help you through chat or through email. So go dig up one of those old emails and get back with me, and let's set up a time to do a session together. I'm not going to, there's a lot of things that can be causing you trouble with that. And it's far too complicated to try to deal with it through emails or comments on videos and so on. So you already know what I'm offering in regards to days and times for doing a session. So send me an email and let's put it together. Hello, Catherine.
Hello. Hello.
Good to have you in.
I muted the YouTube.
You muted the YouTube. Good. Thank you. Chris McGraw says, what is that voice? I am hilarious. I need to build another PC, so I need parts from Madi to Catherine. Okay, I got to start going just to the orange stuff. Somebody's making a mention of Alexa, Siri, know the 3 lines. I have it. Oh, so I'm getting, do you guys have 3 lines rather than 3 dots in the chat window? Is it dots or is it lines that you have?
Dots in a line, vertical.
Dots and a line?
They're dots that are in a vertical line from top to
Oh,
bottom.
okay. Yeah, just like I'm showing on screen.
When I click on that, I don't see what you guys are talking about.
When you click on the dots, you don't see a go-to
I get
channel.
participants, pop-out chat, toggle timestamps.
No, down in the chat, Jeff. Not the top dots. Down in the chat itself. If you click on that, you can go to someone's channel.
It's on the right side of
like on yours. Okay.
an individual's comment.
Ah, okay, I got you.
Click the three dots. Yeah, I think we've established that I don't get to do
Well,
that.
mine says report or block.
Report or
Like
block.
I'm on Ken Stout Live.
Really block.
You're on Ken Stout Live, but that's not a live stream right now. Is it? Oh,
No,
no,
I clicked
you went to
I
Ken.
clicked on Chris McGraw and it says go to channel, so I don't know
Okay.
why you're not.
All right.
I'll cover it tonight.
All right.
Two of us got that.
I think that means you're going to explore it and try to figure out who it's working for and who it's not.
Clearly.
Because they sometimes they do feature rollouts and on a.
I click on Chris McGraw's and I get some extra stuff since I'm a moderator, but I don't get what you guys are talking about. So we'll let it go for now.
Yeah, it's clearly not a moderator status. I think it might have to do with YouTube rolling out the feature to, in batches or in phased rollout. That's what I'm trying to say. So not everybody has it right now, I suspect is the case. Back in 1980, Ken had a question pertaining to Zoom. Wait, was Zoom a thing in 1980?
Of course. My cars used to zoom, little match fights.
Yeah. I don't even want to imagine pieces of smart TVs. She meant do not connect to router for the smart TV. No, I did not send you an email. Is there a good Zoom tutorial that I can review? I would like to join in Zoom someday. John, I would suggest you just try it. Send me an email, DougBetts at LiveWindowsTraining.com. I'll send you the credentials. It's a link. You just click on the link. It's going to load Zoom. You might have a few prompts to click through. And then you come in and I suggest don't bother with the tutorial. Just come in and try it out. 3 dots. I say 3 dots, 3 lines. Don't exist. YouTube app. So Selden's not seeing that option. Correct. Get the 3 dots. Paid 2 years ago for my something or other. Most people must have it activated. When you tried to comment on videos, if it's not activated, that's chit chat between them. Okay, I'm caught up. Ken, what is your Zoom question?
Well, now that we're talking about Zoom, if you have dedicated ID and password, as long as that doesn't get compromised, the only people that can get into that Zoom session is those people that have those credentials. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so the only way someone could get bombed if those credentials were leaked out or given out, then they could get in, correct?
If they got leaked, if somebody's email got hacked, if the person has a compromised password on their email, they might find it. If somebody who is a regular participant creates a false persona and bombs you and in their alternate personality. So those are all potentials.
Do you recommend doing that, or do you recommend using the randomized link in every time you go in?
Yeah, I recommend staying with a consistent credentials until you get a problem and then change them. Now, the reason why I say that, the reason why I like that is because I didn't have to send you all new credentials.
Sure.
I don't want to have to do that extra task. I have enough tasks to do to prepare for a live stream, considering that I'm doing this on a 2012 computer. That's one of my topics. Remember, or if you saw one of my topics there, let me come back to that. Was over here.
Improve Zoom strategy, number 10.
Improve Zoom strategy during live streams. Yes. And business and YouTube resolutions. I have a few things to make this easier. Now, I did recently implement one of the new things. So I'm going to demonstrate that now to make it easier. Some of you are going to laugh and think this was a silly thing for me to do. I'm going to unmute the little lady over here.
Yeah. I have a follow-up question too.
Okay, but hang on. Let me demonstrate this first. So I'll go my what I call my keyboard cam here. So I got these studio lights, right? Okay. Alexa, turn off studio lights.
Okay.
Boom. Alexa, turn on studio lights.
Okay.
Because, why was that a significant thing to me? Because there are so many wires across the back. For me to walk past there and turn those two on, it's just a nuisance. So I simplified little pieces, and when I do a live stream, I have to I restart this computer. Don't have to, but it works out better. Restart the computer.
Go away.
Disable Epic Games. Exit from OneDrive. Exit from that stupid Spotify thing that Windows has automatically launching now. I don't know why and how that came up. Do not launch Google Chrome on my streaming computer. Launch the streaming software. Set the countdown timer to what it needs to be. Set the picture-in-picture to do the Zoom session instead of camera 1. And there's a few more things. I have to exit and relaunch Stream Deck because it doesn't behave well. When I get a better computer as my streaming computer, I should be able to leave software open, just have... by the way, if I leave XSplit open after the live stream is done, either later that day or the next morning, my computer will have blue screen crashed with a DirectX error. And I'm pretty sure it's because my hardware is much older than the current DirectX drivers. I spent some time trying to fix it and just decided, as long as it doesn't blue screen while I'm live streaming or while I'm recording a video, I can live with it. So there's just too many hassles the way it's currently set up. I got to fix that. So I have plans in progress. So that was some of my Zoom and YouTube stuff. Now, did you have more on Zoom?
Got one more. Is there a way that you can look to see who your participant was, i.e. a report after the Zoom ends that lists everyone and the times they entered?
I'm not aware of that. I think what my thoughts would be to use the Windows built-in screen recording so that you're getting a recording, or actually, well, Zoom can record your event.
Correct.
But I don't think it records. I don't know if it records the chat. It should be recording whatever you're showing on screen, which would be your participants. Have you tried that method?
We play with recording, but it announces to everybody that you're recording, which is good.
Right.
But if someone says, "Hey, I don't want to be recorded," you have to honor that respect and stop the recording.
Okay, there is a way around that. If you use the screen recording of Windows or some other recording software such as Camtasia, you could record what's on your screen without them being notified. Now, you got to question yourself on the ethics of that.
Sure.
Probably
right.
technically illegal, but if that never leaves your possession and you never use it to cause any damage or harm to anybody, you're using it for your own training purposes, I wouldn't argue you down from that. I would probably want to say, I don't want to know.
Illegal's illegal.
Yeah, illegal's illegal. However, laws are written so that people can be prosecuted when those in charge choose to prosecute. So if it ever came out that you're doing that, and if somebody had a bug against you, you could be vulnerable. Now, how possibly could that happen? If the government, if a government entity decided they had it in for you because of some other activity you're doing and they want to find a way to get at you, they could do that. But there's no law enforcement entity that's going to go prosecute a crime simply because it is a crime if there's nobody complaining about it, nobody harmed by it. And
you're totally right and very much wrong. I
it's-
wouldn't worry about being prosecuted. I'd worry about being sued by the parties involved.
That's right. Now, however, even that, if you sue somebody because they've recorded you, but they've never used it against you, there's no financial damage to you, there's actually no harm to you, I think you're going to be hard-pressed to find a judge that's not going to throw that out of court.
It depends on the state. Like I'm here in Michigan, we're a two-party state and there'll only be one party taping it.
Well, sure. There is the two-party. Some states require both parties consent. Some states require only one party. But even when they only require, or when they require two parties, if you record without the other person's authorization, my opinion, not an attorney, this is not legal advice, my personal opinion, and some would criticize me for even saying this, is that you will be hard-pressed to find a judge who won't throw that out of court if there was never any damage caused to the victim. No financial damage, it was never published, it was never used against them to harm them in any way whatsoever. You'd be hard-pressed to find a judge that wouldn't throw that out of court.
The problem is you have to defend against the attorney that's suing you.
Yeah, that is the point. That is a significant point. You're going to spend money to get in front of a judge to defend that. So again, somebody gets a bug up their butt to cause you grief. And there are people out do, hey, okay, here's the story. Somebody did that to me. I had a client. I did work for him. I sent him a bill. He got upset at me about something, said, I'm not going to pay your bill. My attitude is okay, I won't ever work for you again. That's all I was going to do. I wasn't going to try to pursue it at all. He sued me. He filed a small claims court suit against me. He hadn't paid me any money.
Right.
This was possibly a borderline nuisance suit. But anyway, so we're in front of the judge. I show the judge my invoices of what I did. He makes the claimant made his case to the judge. He was an attorney. The claimant is an attorney. Sued me, and I won because I had actually done the work that I was billing him for. His complaint against me is I did not do other work that he wanted me to do quick enough to suit him. That's what he was angry with me about. What happened was he called me one day. I answered the phone as I was driving on the freeway. Answered hands-free. This is just a hint. And he wanted me to come over. He just received his new computer. He wanted me to come over right then and set it up. I was not available for that. I said, I can't do that. I'm on another task right now. He yelled at me. He was super pissed. And that is how he ended the relationship. And I think it was his intention all along to not pay my bill and find some way to excuse him out of it. So his complaint to the judge was that he said that he had a contract with me, a verbal contract with me, to do this full amount of job. And because I didn't come over right when he wanted me to, that voided the whole contract. Well, there was no contract.
Well, even if there was, you still get paid along the lines.
For what I did, yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
got paid for the first week, then the second, then the third, or whatever.
Yeah. So, but now this whole story I gave this because of the point of a person can sue somebody else. They can file a lawsuit against somebody else for anything, justified or not. It can be something that totally would likely be thrown out of court, but they can still start the suit and cause you a lot of grief.
Let me ask you a dumb question, Doug. While you were there, did you say, Your Honor, by the way, since we're here already, how about making him pay me for the work I already did?
I didn't have to say that. The judge did that.
Really?
And the guy paid me. If he just would have shut up and not done anything, he would have not had to pay me. But because he sued me, and he hadn't paid me anything, so what's he suing for? Is he trying to get money back? No, I think he's only trying to get out of the obligation of paying me.
I've got a statement and a question.
Yeah.
The statement is, if you Zoom or if you Google Zoom and how to look at things, there is a way that shows to get a report. I couldn't find how to do it.
Oh.
The question is, if you're consistently getting bombed by someone pretending to be someone else, which probably not against the law, but it's one of those ethical and moral issues, what would you suggest you do? What that I would do?
Well, talk to your audience about it, which I think you probably have. And then to experiment with it, you change the credentials and you send those credentials to a subset of the group, and then do another Zoom session with a different set of credentials and send it to the other half. See if you can pinpoint who's doing it. But chances are they're just going to start behaving when you're trying to narrow down who it is. So that's
Hopefully they've been hacked. I mean, you brought a good point. I said one statement, but unless they've been hacked, yes, that's a good point.
I mean, who's going to do it again?
Well,
the ones want me to answer that.
The hacked, if somebody's email is getting hacked and the offender is not your legitimate participant, but the offender is getting their credentials by virtue of that, of having hacked that person, then the best you're going to wind up doing is prove that the vulnerability is through that person, but you're going to have to realize it might not actually be that person, and you're never going to be able to prove that. Exactly. You're still going to be stuck. It's still a matter of belief.
Sure.
I think you have some of your people, some of your clients set up, but I use Outlook. And when I open Outlook up, I have to sign in to get to the right data file. So double, authentication there.
So that, the thing to do would be is to coach whoever it is in your audience that appears to be the vulnerability, is coach them to reset their email password and turn on two-factor authentication for their email.
Then we at least get rid of where people just can't be hacked as easily.
Yeah.
You notice I said as easily.
True. And the two-factor authentication, that it's so much more difficult.
Yeah.
That it would be really impressive for that to still be vulnerable. Then okay, so how here's a place where you get the person to change their password and turn on two-factor authentication, but if it's their spouse that's doing the evil deeds.
Well, my spouse has done it twice, and now she can't use the keyboard. No hands. That was a joke.
I think that was a joke, but I didn't quite get it. Who was it you were talking about? A spouse?
My spouse.
Oh, your spouse. She can't use the keyboard because her hands are injured.
Let me ask you a question about the email thing, Doug.
Yeah.
Okay, my email goes to outlook.com.
Yeah.
But I use the Thunderbird client to retrieve it. So I'm not sure how you do two-factor authentication with a setup like that.
Well, actually,
When I start up Thunderbird, it just logs into my email.
yeah, but the offender would not be using your Thunderbird. They wouldn't have your Thunderbird configured to read your email. They'd be having to read your email from Outlook.com.
On the web, yeah.
Which that's where the two-factor exists. When you're opening your Thunderbird, you wouldn't get hit with two-factor
So I don't need the
authentication.
two-factor. I mean, that's not going to block me from using Thunderbird or another email client. Okay.
No. The only time you would experience the two-factor is if you go to another browser, another computer, or an incognito browser and open Outlook.com, and you would get hit with two-factor.
Okay, great.
And
Thank you.
a quick, because when I say Outlook, I mean Outlook through an Exchange server, not Outlook.
Right. I understand, Gary.
All right.
Yeah.
It just,
I don't like public email.
just activated the few brain cells I have left to think about the other question.
Still waiting on that update.
Hey Doug, I have a comment related to
Thanks,
Ken's
Doug.
Zoom question. Wouldn't and I've kind of been doing other things in the background, so I've kind of been listening to only bits and pieces of the conversation. But wouldn't allowing on making it so that only authenticated users that are logged into Zoom to be able to join the Zoom session combat any of that?
Perhaps. So I think what you're saying is that the person actually has a Zoom account.
The person has to be logged in with the Zoom account in order to be able to join the Zoom meeting. Otherwise, it won't let them join the Zoom meeting.
Yeah, and then I would suspect that Zoom probably has a way for you to report a user, so that you could report that user to Zoom. And then also maybe there's a way to, I would hope that there's a way for Zoom to make the names show up on screen using the Zoom account, Zoom credentials, something like that.
Yeah, but how many Zooms go off at one time? Just a thought.
I don't know what you mean by Zooms go off.
In other words, we're doing Zoom right now. My wife may be doing Zoom with the girlfriend in Texas. And so who are you looking for?
Well, they'd each be logged in with different Zoom accounts, wouldn't they?
Yes, but you don't know which one you don't know which one you're picking out.
Sure you do. You're picking out the one that you're affiliated to, not your watch or not anyone else's. Doug, if I may,
Yeah.
we got bombed by someone pretending to be someone else, and there were some things that were said that were questionable. Okay. Now we know for 99% accuracy, this was not this person. Whether it was legal or not, it wasn't. A couple of things that came up was, we're never going to know for sure. And if it was done in humor, okay, but the content of what was said was wrong. That's my question on it. The other thing is, I leave Zoom all the time and I give the host to Alex, or I give the host to Jeff, or I give the host to Gary, and come back because I have things to do. And when I left, someone came in and pretended to be someone else. And no, it wasn't me. They didn't pretend to be me. I flirted with you got to show your picture, you got to show your video, but not everybody's comfortable with that, and I understand. I'm just trying to cut down on some of the shenanigans, the childishness, if you will, of this, because that's all it has to be. Let's go in and interrupt this Zoom. But if I'm using secure credentials, the only people that have those credentials are the only people that can get in.
Yeah.
Okay?
Unless they've been hacked.
Unless they've been hacked, or unless they, like we've talked about before. So Jeff says, hey, I think you might want to talk to this guy, and he sends him the credentials, who sends him to someone, who sends him to someone, who sends him to someone.
Well, I would hope none of us are doing that
I don't think so.
without asking you.
Kevin and Doug, I would think you'd have to change them for each one.
Yeah,
Be careful.
with the experience you're having, Ken, with repeating, I would think that you probably should do new credentials each time and just have a group email. It should be BCC, blind carbon copy. So you
That's
have
my
a
understanding
standing
that
email
blind-
that you send that out with new credentials for each session.
Sure. But it's my understanding that the BCC, if you have Gmail, everyone that has Gmail gets the blind carbon copy.
They shouldn't. How's that?
Well, yeah,
I agree, they shouldn't, but I kind of seen someone send it to me and say, hey, look, here's everybody's email. So the BCC thing was a great idea, but it didn't work.
so where was it that somebody would see all the email addresses?
So let's say I'm going to send one out. I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to send it to myself first, and then I'm going to BCC everyone else.
Yeah.
Well, apparently
Like
those that
legit-
have the, Gary?
Why send it? I apologize for interrupting, but why send it yourself?
Just to be safe. If I send it to Doug first and he's got a Gmail account and then it's BCC, that was my thinking that, because Doug's got a Gmail account, which everybody else, so I'll send it to me and I can actually go to one of my older email accounts and do it.
Let me explain that a different way. Whoever is on the to line, that email address is going to be seen by all the recipients. So by sending to yourself, then the recipients are only going to see your email address on the to line, which is okay with you.
And
So-
Greg just said, yes, a Gmail account will see all emails in the BCC field. I think what I'm going to have to do is what you said. I'm just going to have to individually go in there and send out things. And then that way if it ever happens again, then those that get excluded will kind of narrow down the field a little bit.
Well, there's something screwy there. That shouldn't be happening.
shouldn't
I
be
mean, that's the
happening.
purpose of BCC.
Yeah.
How about try Outlook.com? Just for
What's
that.
that?
Try Outlook.com just for Zoom. Ken.
I'll have to get with Doug to get that set up.
Okay, but I don't think that's going to cause a
Well,
problem
I
because
mean-
you can't change other people's email addresses to Outlook.com.
No, I mean just Ken's.
Oh, so if Ken sends the BCC from an address that's not a Gmail address, then the recipients aren't going to see all the BCC addresses. That
Should work that way.
sounds feasible. You could create anything other than Gmail, but that's I want to see that happen. Now my address is hosted by Google, but it's not a Gmail address. So that might be a distinction. So I'd sure like to see
Doug,
that.
I would think the same rules would apply regardless of whether you're. I think those same rules would apply if you're using any domain, as long as it's hosted on Google.
Probably.
Because it's the same.
I'm thinking mine would have that same experience. So I would like to see that happen, and Ken, maybe because of the environment of your live streams of experimenting things, I'd sure love for you to put together an experiment that would include me on the BCC line on an email that originated from a Gmail address that has other people on the BCC line, so I could actually see that happen.
Give that a shot.
All right, good. I am way overdue for catching.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm way overdue for catching up with chat, and there was a request of one of my other topics. What was the other topic that was requested? We'll find it. Maybe we'll find it in here. So that highlighted is my last item. Chit chat. Just have a lot of karaoke videos on a list. It's an empty channel otherwise. What? I just have a lot of Carrie's videos on a list. It's an empty channel otherwise. I think Chris is talking about his own channel that he has listed Carrie's videos. Okay, I understand that. Making progress, keep up good work. Hold on, I have info for a go-to channel. Gladly help with a parts list. That was for me? Glad to help you with a parts list from Catherine to me. Was I asking for parts? Not sure. I thought I heard somebody else asking for help with parts, or saw somebody else asking for help with parts. That'll come clear later, probably. Maybe you can get a report card at the end. You can do a screen record in Zoom. So Ken, you found there is a way to get some history, right?
According to Google, it says go to the report on the left-hand side and then go to the right
Okay.
and click on something, but I could not find any word that said report anywhere.
All right. Zoom can list participants and export to a file. I found this about go to channel. That probably might explain that it's a phased rollout. Sued you for that. Yeah, it's going back to my lawsuit story. It was wild. To think of it, if you want to limit the use of a machine, just install Linux Mint, Pop, or any other available distros. Gaming is very limited. Not everything works out of the box. I wouldn't want to have him as an attorney. Yeah, I found out, as somebody told me, that this attorney was known in Fresno as being a really slimeball, ambulance chaser type slimeball attorney. 2FA is not a problem. Yes, a Gmail account will see all emails in the BCC field. Google it. Interesting. Sent all in Gmail. Outlook will hide email name in the BC field. We use it many times in the Navy. Check that out. Last Zoom you sent me shows Alex. Use me for testing. I can forward back to me. High school class keeps up with all the classmates, sends out Gmail using BCC. Boy, it just shouldn't be. That is such a bad thing. Just a matter OD time until your 2012 PC does not want to stream anymore. Yeah, I buy that. I need to get away from this. Oh, I know. That's what she was offering parts for. That's probably not going to be the way that I'm going to go because I don't want to build. Probably not going to be the way I'm going to go. Just me on the test guinea pig of the world. I like how we all Google it. While I use DuckDuckGo, the Zone uses DuckDuckGo. I know there's somebody that uses DuckDuckGo. I know somebody else that uses. Oh yeah, one of my clients use it because she's just totally anti-Google person.
My mom and dad are anti-Google, or they say they're anti-Google, but yet my mom just got herself a brand new Samsung S21 $1,200 smartphone. My dad has a S9, her old S9 smartphone, and my dad also has a Google Chromebook, which, regardless of whether he uses Go on that or not, he's still got to use the Chrome browser, since that's the whole point of a Chromebook is it uses the Chrome browser. So it's just something I don't understand. Well, they say they're anti-Google, but yeah, all three of us have Android smartphones, and he's got a Chromebook.
I'm trying to figure out what that other topic was that somebody was requesting from my topic list. Whoever it was, can you re-ask or redirect me to that? It wasn't podcast. It wasn't the income. I think it was port forwarding. Is that what somebody was asking about? Or USB ports? We did the USB ports. We did the 240p live stream. Oh, Catherine asked about the laptop, right? Catherine, is that you were the one that it was asking that, right? Catherine, are you there?
Yes.
You were asking about the laptop that I have here for diagnosis, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Let's bring that up front and center. I got this from the client. She says the screen doesn't work. I have loaned her one of the two Google Chromebook laptops that I purchased, so for her to use in the interim, and because that's she said most all of what she does anymore is web-based. So I wanted somebody to give a Chromebook a real try. And she was prepared to buy another computer, but I suggested that I replace her screen instead on the laptop if that's all it needs, because she just doesn't have a lot of uses. Now, I mentioned before in another video, and this is where she used to use the computer to manage her husband's business, a painting business, and he sort of retired / medical reasons needed to get out of that, so he's not doing that business anymore. But I'm as I was talking to her about, are you willing to totally give up the business records? Are you totally done with it? Or could it be that you need to refer back to that in the future? I mean, if we replace her computer, do we need to make it fully functional the way the old computer was? Or do you just want it set up for internet stuff? She does crafts through the internet. She does genealogy through the internet and other general stuff. So I told her that because of my YouTube channel, I'd be willing to replace the screen with no labor charge. She just pays for parts. It's an old computer. You're gonna recognize it just by how thick it is, that it's an old computer. And some people are gonna say just replace it, but I always consider what is the needs of the person involved. And I don't mind at all that we replace the screen. Not because people need to learn how to replace a screen on a computer that's this old, but it's all basically the same techniques and methods. Has a Windows.
Since you're replacing the screen, did you think about upgrading an SSD, or did you mention it to her?
I did not mention it to her, and I will not mention it to her because she's not going to, her needs just don't warrant that. She's not that heavy of a user. She's not doing reads and writes. She's not concerned about the boot up time because she can turn the computer on. She's retired herself. She doesn't need an SSD. So I'm going to go around backside, and I know some of you just think SSD should always be installed no matter what. And I only say that to recognize that that's how you feel. It's not how I feel. All right, I haven't tried this. I haven't tested it yet. So I don't know if it's going to just turn on and work or if there's something else wrong with it. And one of my intentions is to connect an external monitor and see if if the computer is actually booting, or is it possible the computer's not even booting. So here's the power button. I hear the machine starting up.
That was a teeth, huh?
All right. All right, let's try again. Eight beeps. Holding power button. So what we want to know is, what does 8 beeps mean for an Inspiron M5030, M5030. I'll put the model in the chat, and I'll put the service tag in the chat. Inspiron M5030 and service tag. I'm gonna want a magnifying glass. Use this magnifying glass. there. Yeah, all right. Service tag 6V 9V SP1. Double checking. Okay, Ida's given us a link in chat. Who installed Chrome OS on it? Sticker shows Windows 7. No, you misunderstood, Chris. This computer doesn't have the Chrome operating system. I loaned her a laptop that I purchased new. Well, yeah, it's new. HP laptop that came with Chrome operating system on it from the manufacturer. So this computer has Windows. In the chat, whoever asking us for the smart TV, they seem LCD failure. 8 beeps on startup means LCD on system has failed. Okay. So that's going to be true even connecting an external, isn't it? Is it going to give me the beeps if I connect an external? Or will it bypass that? Where am I going to reach that monitor? I want a VGA cable. Oh, I have one there. What is that one attached to? It's attached to nothing. But I think it can attach to my capture device. All right. Turn it the right way, Doug. All right, then I'm going to go around to the back side of the desk and connect that to the capture device.
Ed,
Yes.
we are like 2 hours and 27 minutes into this, and you've not made one reference to being confused and not know what you're doing. Could you toss one of those in, please?
Well, I got two capture devices here, and I'm confused which one is the right one for me to connect to. And I don't.
We can relax now.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
I was thinking I might get some kind of a prosthetic long nose that I could hold up to my face each time that I tell a little white lie. Because unfortunately, I did know what I was doing.
Pinocchio might be copyrighted. You want to be careful with that.
Oh, there you go. I gotta fix that camera on Zoom when it goes out of focus.
I just read that the copyrights on all the Disney stuff, all the older Disney stuff, run out in 2022 sometime, unless they get a special exemption, which it doesn't look like they will.
Yeah, there's something recently about a whole bunch of copyrights that just expired that were like near 97 years old or something like that. So let's see, I got to go change the input for that capture device again. So this is going to look a little weird for you right now. You're probably not seeing any image over YouTube at all. Do not adjust your set. This is on my end. So now that goes back to, now I got that set on VGA for the capture device. The computer's not on yet, but now I can go to computer 3, which is that capture device. So now press the power button to turn it on and see if we get an image through the capture device. Oh, there's a Windows logo. It is beeping, so now I'll mute. There's a mute button for the speaker, but it's not responding. Did it finally stop? It might have responded to the function key, or it might have timed out. But it looks like it is booting. I'm going to let that continue working on booting for a little bit and come back to chat. Okay from Chris. That was giving my correction on something. LCD failure, might bypass that. Reseat the LCD cable, replace the LCD screen. Now, actually, the evolution of the symptom. A few months back, she called me and we worked through the problem because she reported that it occasionally, the screen would kind of flutter, and I had her do a manual manipulation of the screen, just kind of bending it like this, and she could impact the symptom. She could make the symptom appear and make it go away by doing some twists or torques on the screen. So that makes me think that it's probably not a cable. Should work according to the link. Got it. About topic 9, I've been thinking about doing a tech channel. So 1K, 300 videos, $400. Is this information right? So topic 9 must have been about my revenue from business and YouTube resolutions. Topic 9. Tech channel, so 1,300 videos is $400. That is not a fair statement. It's not a fair statement to say that with 1,000 viewers and 300 videos, you could expect to earn $400. I think at $400, a bit above that, is an unfair statement about my channel because there are some particularly generous donors on this channel, and because they came from Carrie Holzman's channel, frankly, and Tony Wallow here is certainly one of those. And I've included, well, actually, the YouTube money was over 400, but there's also been some PayPal money come through, so the total number is probably more than that. I think normally the income from a YouTube channel my size, it became monetized on September 11th, an easy date to remember, so a little less than 3 months. I think it's probably under $100 of actual advertising revenue that came through. Oops, I'm not even showing the right screen right now. Doug's never dazed and confused from Greg. Thank you. The only person who actually believes in me. Yeah, I didn't hear any audible responses to that, so I guess I didn't get nailed.
I was muted. I laughed. That was a good one.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did. Say it again. We'll go ahead.
I don't remember. I don't remember what it was now. What did I say? I'm confused.
I don't remember either. That's why I wanted you to say it.
All right. Go to beep codes for American Inc. Buy us. Greg, let's see. It's a Dell. LCD. Sorry, but same area code. 8 beeps. Video memory. I'm having Chinese food for supper. Okay, thank you. All right, so let's go see how this is doing. Bring this one up. There it is. It's fully booted. So one of the options is just to give her an external monitor. I have plenty of used external monitors around here rather than replacing the screen. So if I replace the screen for free, except I'll have her pay for parts, really the reason for doing that is just to provide the video content on my channel. Because for her to be able to connect to access the computer, she could do it with an external monitor. She lives in a double-wide mobile home, a really nice one, with her husband. They moved there from their rural country home to be able to have less maintenance needs. I'm looking for a wireless mouse nearby.
Hello. Hello. Hello, that's good. Yeah,
Let's go. Okay, Catherine's muted because she's visiting with a neighbor there probably. And the zone is asking here, when you press a button, your camera views switch. Where can I get that? This is called a Stream Deck. This is my button device. They have ones that have fewer buttons. They have ones that have more buttons. And it uses a software on the computer called Stream Deck. And so you can go search for that on Amazon. I bought it through Amazon. Yeah, coming back, what do I want to do? I was trying to get mouse functioning. So I don't have a mouse right now. She had a wireless mouse plugged into it. So I'm trying the tab key and alt tab, Windows key. I'm not getting response from the keyboard, it looks like. Oh, there's a response. Just took a while. Yeah, it took a while. All right, escape. Start menu went away. Windows key again. Waiting, waiting, waiting. There's the start menu. Wow, that's slow. Something just popped up in the notification area, an extra icon. I think it's not fully started. That's probably what's going on. Oh, well, this is an interesting thought. Demeanor says it's not the screen problem, it's a fault in memory video. Interesting. So the 8 beeps video memory is not the screen, but rather the video memory. All right, that actually sounds pretty believable. Here's Zvi's link up here. I'll go see if that deals with the video memory. Beep codes. Going down to find, it was 8 beeps, right? I don't see 8 beeps. What am I missing? I'd probably know it if I read through that closer. I'm going to do Control V. Try that again because it didn't work the first time. Control V is not working on my computer. No, Control F for find. Control V is paste. I'm confused. I don't know what I'm doing. Are you happy, Ken? You're muted, Ken. Got no response.
Sorry, it was working in the background. I heard that. That's a good one. I probably started a monster here.
All right. I just thought my joke fell flat.
By the way, you said, thank you, Greg. You're the only one that believes in me. And that was funny.
Ah. So here's some other things. The beep codes 1-1-2-3. Which of these adds up to 8? Is that what was going on? Was I getting a It sounded like a straight sequence of beeps. I didn't hear
I'm
any
confused.
pauses.
Isn't that a Dell? That's a HP website.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it is an HP website. This is a Dell computer. I think that got corrected in the chat. Let's see where. This is where Zvi had an HP site here. Slow as a snail. Beep codes for American mega trends. Yeah, this is where Chris is saying it's a Dell to Zvi. Sorry, but the same error code, 8 beeps video memory. I'm having Chinese food. Okay, thank you. When you press the button, okay, I did already address that. Screen problem, video memory, then the board would have to be changed. So yeah, that means I could have perhaps ordered a video, the display panel, based upon her telling me that the screen's bad, and then that wouldn't have fixed it. Flexing the screen caused the same symptoms, unless it's just coincidence. Yeah, so flexing the screen caused some kind of I'm deducing, flicker on the screen or lines on the screen or some kind of image. It was hard for her to see the image well enough on the screen. So I had her do a little tweaking. She got it to a point where she could get a good stable image, and I told her don't close the lid. She was in the habit of closing the lid every day, shutting the computer down, closing down the lid. I told her don't do that, leave the lid open. You could do a shutdown and then start again the next day if you wanted to, but it'd be even better if you just left it on. And so she did that, and it worked for months, fine. And then I think it was just one day it suddenly was not working at all. AMI BIOS, you're on the HP website. Muffin Man, you're right about that. Zvi says it would be the same for the beep code, but I didn't see 8 beeps on that website. Reseat the LCD cable, replace the screen from Dan the Man. HP and Dell use AMI BIOS. Zvi, go AMI BIOS in this link. The external display wouldn't work if it's video memory. Well, that's an interesting point too. The external display, now, could the external display be using something else for video memory? And what if I were to go into BIOS and try to make a settings change regarding video memory? Because isn't there the thing about sharing memory with video, sharing system memory with video? Greg, sorry, laptops are too fragile and too costly in my opinion. Well, I've replaced screens on laptops before, depending upon the environment and the client's needs. It can be worth doing. It just depends upon the circumstances. I typically won't do it for a business client. Let's just replace the computer. And Alan Barsness says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Alan. And I think you were the first one to comment on this scheduled video yesterday. Long before we were live, just shortly after I scheduled the video. Coming back to the laptop, see if it responds quicker. Yeah, there's Windows key, escape, Windows key, escape. Yeah, much more responsive now. Do I have a mouse on the mouse pad? No. Do I have a function key? Yes, there's a function key for the mouse pad. Press it. Yep, there it is. So there's the mouse alive and well. Alp's pointing device came up at the same time that somebody was popping into Zoom. Let's see who's here in Zoom. Zvi, hello.
Hi, Doug.
Hi, how are you? Happy New Year.
Yes, I am good. Happy New Year to you and for all this, everyone in there. In the link that I gave you, you missed the AMI BIOS. Go and enter to the link
Okay.
and see AMI BIOS.
Okay. That makes sense. I understand now how you were trying to correct me in chat. It's just not nearly as good as having you here verbally.
No, down.
Now there's a delay in what you're seeing on the YouTube video, probably about 5 seconds worth. So I see resolving beep codes. I'm below the listings. Beep codes for American Megatrends AMI BIOS. Is that what you want me to go to?
Yes.
So there's,
Open it.
I'll expand that section. And then there they have 8. Here's listing for 8, and they're saying video memory. And this was HP's website, and you're saying it's the same because they're both using AMI BIOS.
Exactly.
Do you pronounce it AMI or AMI?
AMI.
AMI? Okay. And then this following table does not have the 8 codes, I guess, because this previous table did.
It's not American BIOS.
It's what?
It's not the same.
It's not the same, meaning this lower.
It's not the same BIOS. It's the other BIOS.
I don't know which, when you say it's not the same as what? Is this second graph down here? The second chart down here? Is not the same?
It's a AMI BIOS, but there is no 8 bits there.
Okay. So now, in regards to what somebody said in chat, that would indicate that replacing the screen's not going to fix it because it's the video memory that's on the system board rather than the display screen. Do you concur with that?
I don't know what kind of CPU is there, and what if there are another video card there.
Okay, yeah. So that would be going to look at the Dell service tag. And did somebody put that into chat already? A link for the Dell site? If not, I'll just go to it. That's HP. I don't think anybody put in a link for Dell. So I'll just go ahead and copy that service tag. Here it is. Double click, Control C to copy, Alt Tab to go back to my browser, go to a new page, Dell.com in the address bar. I'm bringing back the laptop on screen. I'm closing the lid of the laptop to see if that stays on screen. Yeah, it looks like it's not going to sleep. All right, good. So here's the Dell website. Go to support and then knowledge base and click in this field here and put the service tag. Just Control V to paste it. Click search. And here it shows the model. And does it have a discrete graphics? Drivers, diagnosis, documentations, parts and service, system at a glance, videos, knowledge base, something about, here's service status details, here we go, view product specs. There, integrated network, Wi-Fi module, basic stage, Best Buy, it probably came from Best Buy then. This system configuration I usually find not to be very helpful. Is there anything here about the video? ATI Mobility Radeon HD 4250. That's a discrete graphics. Agreed?
Yes.
Am I right? Yeah. And then here's the processor, AMD dual core P360, 4 gigabytes RAM, Inspiron 15 notebook. I'm really reluctant to keep her on this laptop. Ay caramba. But it's an interesting point of education to think that it's that discrete graphics card rather than the display panel. Does the discrete graphics card drive both the built-in display and the external VGA port? I have no idea. Very easy solution is just provide her with an external monitor. Certainly if I replace the display screen, not knowing if the display adapter is actually the source of the trouble, would be a waste of time and money. And is this part even individually replaceable? That might be replacing the entire system board, because that discrete graphics adapter I don't think is usually a replaceable component. I think it's integrated into the system board, but I don't know that. But at any rate, I kind of feel like we've completed the diagnosis on this. And that now the choice is just, do I provide her, I can provide her a free external monitor because I have so many around here. That's just an easy, cheap solution. And after she decides if the Chromebook is adequate for her needs and she's happy with it, it's a very inexpensive solution for her. And then this laptop and the external monitor would just sit in a closet until someday that she needs it, if she needs to reference it at all. And that saves them the cost of buying a new computer and me transferring all her content over to it. I don't think I need to go any further with that during this video, during this live stream. Does anybody have further questions or comments? Bring up chat.
Get a new one.
What's that, Tim?
Get a new laptop.
Get a new laptop. Why would you prescribe a new laptop for her if a Chromebook completely meets her needs and is a lot cheaper? Why would you push her for a new laptop?
Or a Chromebook.
Okay. Ryan, who installed Chrome OS? Okay, we already talked about that. In the chat, who was asking for a smart TV? I already read that. 8-Beats already read that. I went back. I scrolled back up for some reason.
Alex.
Javi, were you asking for Alex?
No, we're asking for not smart TV, Alex asked.
Oh, Alex was, yeah. When you press a button, your camera switch. I did that. I did that. Get back down. Where are we at? Happy New Year from Alan. Does Device Manager show device driver is working properly? That's interesting to look at. That may show if it's a video memory problem. We'll look at that. If you have a picture of the external monitor, I cannot see the video memory as being bad. If you have a picture on the external monitor, I cannot see the video memory as being bad. Maybe a video cable. Okay, video cable connecting the motherboard to the built-in display. Chris, oh, it's AMD CPU, as if that fixed everything. I think Chris has commented before about my use of iCaramba. Oh, you know, fun. I think somebody commented before about iCaramba, I think in a comment on a video. And what I discovered, this is just hilarious. I went and looked up, how do you actually spell, when he actually spelled it, I didn't know how to spell ay caramba. So let's go. If I copy that, go to a Google search, paste it, and then, am I going to find it? There was a compilation of ay caramba on, what's that animated cartoon series? The oh, come on, I almost got it.
Simpsons.
Simpsons, thank you. Simpsons.
Doug,
Yes.
Doug, I put another link in the chat room with the diagnostic, exactly the diagnostic. It's LCD monitor.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not memory, LCD.
Okay, I'll get back to that in a minute. Let me finish out this ay caramba from oh, that's an advertisement. Let's get past the advertisement. Okay, so it's actually on. No, that's not it. Ay caramba. View source. This ad will end in 13 seconds. It's basically Bart says Simpson, a whole bunch of, he says ay caramba on the show. I never really got into that show myself, so I didn't know that. Fandoms of 2021. Now what are you doing? This is not either. It's in there somewhere. Anyway, if you're interested, you go look at that. I'm going to give that up now because I'm not getting to it very quickly. Apparently that was a big thing on their show. Yes, on most laptops, video chip drives, both display and external. Suggest and continue to recommend keeping laptop open when in use to help with thermal. Ay caramba is Spanish, yeah. Parts People blog, so here it is. Yeah, Bart did say that a lot. Parts People blog. Beep codes diagnostic, identify beep codes. LCD failure. Do they get more specific than that in here, Zavi, or is this what you're referring to?
Go down to the up. Most common fixes.
There we go. Most common fixes. 8 beeps. Reseat the LCD cable or replace the LCD screen. And because of the twisting of the screen that was affecting it, the twisting could be putting some kind of strain or relieving strain on the LCD cable. The past screens that I've done, the LCD cable was hard connected to the display panel, and it could be disconnected from the motherboard. So replacing the cable might mean replacing the whole screen. All right, so let's look at how complicated it is to do that on this Dell computer, because that's instructional to show how to find out. So here's back at the Dell website. I already showed how to get to this screen about the computer. So then we go to documentation and then scroll down to find the service manual. Here's the service manual, and we click on view it as a PDF, or you could download it and then look at it. But viewing it in a browser as a PDF, I think is more responsive to clicking to go into different places. I scroll down to the table of contents. It feels like I should already passed it. Oh, I guess this is the table of contents up here. Teeny tiny. Let's make that bigger. Yeah, before you begin. So all of this is replacing battery, replacing keyboard, replacing palm rest. You don't know that until you're familiar with how Dell does their service manuals. So we want to replace the display panel. Here's display. So click on that. So to replace the display panel, first you have to remove the display assembly, then the display bezel, then the display panel. And then once you've done those three prerequisites, you come down here for the display assembly. Well, that didn't sound right. If I click on display assembly here, does it just come down to this area? I'll try that. Clicking. Yes, it does. Yeah, so removing the display assembly. The prerequisites for this is first remove the battery, remove the keyboard. So the battery on this is just a panel there that's pretty, yeah, just unclips. That's easy to do. So I won't click into that. Removing the keyboard can be more complicated. Now I'm going to come back to page 14. I need to notice it's on page 14. We're going to come back to that later. So click on removing the keyboard. Scroll down here. Before you do this, you have to remove the battery. We already knew that. So the keyboard, there's a screw here and a screw here. Remove the two screws that secure the keyboard to the computer base. Turn the computer over, open the display as far as possible. The keycaps are fragile, easily dislodged, time-consuming to replace. Be careful removing, handling the keyboard. Slide a plastic scribe between the keyboard palm rest. Pry and lift the keyboard to disengage the three tabs. So you know there's three tabs. Ease the keyboard up, slide the 5 tabs at the bottom of the keyboard out of the slots on the palm rest. So here we get a little bit of picture of that. So they're showing the scribe here and here and here. And then it kind of, the backside goes up and you slide this part forward and out, it looks like. And then here's what we see after that's out. And we have these steps here. Without pulling hard on the keyboard, slide it towards the display. Lift the connector latch. Pull the keyboard cable to disconnect it from the connector on the system board. Lift the keyboard off the computer. Now we go back to that page number. I think I said 13, right?
14.
Type 13 and press enter. Whoops, nope, that's not right. Was it not 13? I don't think it was 13. Was it 17? $16. Was it 16? Before you begin removing the display assembly, display bezel. I'm confused. Here, didn't we see that? All right, going back. Click on display, and then it was right here. Page 14. That shows how good my memory is. Removing the battery, removing the keyboard. We did that. So then remove the palm rest. The palm rest, there's all these screws. So that's getting more involved. Alex, did you?
Doug?
Yeah.
Can you try something in this computer to power on and simultaneously with the D key?
Power on with the B as in Bravo?
D, David.
D, David. So holding
Yes.
down the letter D while I power it on?
Yes, until you get another screen. Testing. I saw it
Oh, is it
in
a
a video.
Is it a diagnostic screen?
No.
Okay, so here I'm bringing the computer back up on screen. So we're going to start by shutting it down, right?
Yes, without the external.
Without the external monitor connected?
Yes.
Well, I'll keep it connected so I can shut it down, because without it connected, I can't even
Okay.
see the Windows key. but after shutting it down, I'll disconnect the external, right?
Yes.
Okay, so here, click on power. Not responding. Let me move the picture-in-picture out of the way. There, and then shut down. So then we're going to turn it on while holding down the letter D as in diagnostics.
Yes.
And do I press the power button, then hold down the D, or should you want me to hold down the D as I press the power button?
Hold down the D with the power button.
All right. I'm waiting to hear the fan go off for it to be fully shut down. Take a look at what's going on in chat while I'm waiting for that. Rick Lakes, hello, you're back. You're telling us you had company. Tony and William, they knew it was 14. We'll have to come back to chat because you're the people with the good memories, apparently. All right, so here we're back. It is shut down now. Holding down the letter D, then press the power button. Keep the letter D down. Agreed?
Yes. Yes.
All right. There, I press the power button, holding down the D. And I'm thinking the hope is that we get a diagnostic testing visible on this built-in display. I heard it power up a little bit, and then it has gone totally quiet. It's not.
Press again on the power button.
All right, still holding the D. I hear the fan come on. And then it clicked off, clearly off. I like to try the power button and then right away hold down the D. Here's power button and then holding the D. Oh, that was 5. 8 and then 5. It just fan powered up again.
Hold down the D and power on off again.
Oh, it's on right now.
Yes.
You want me to power it off?
Power off. Yes.
Power off. All right. Power button. I did a press and release. No response. Should I hold down the power button?
Of course.
All right. Holding power button down. Okay. It's off. Now, I didn't get good results when I was holding down the D before pressing the power button. That last result was pressing the power button, then the D.
Press the D and the power button and don't leave the power button.
Don't leave the power button. You want me to continue holding the power button?
Yes, hold the D first.
Yeah.
And then the power button and don't release it.
Don't release the power button. All right, that's a new one on
Yes.
me. The D first, holding the power button down. I heard some startup sounds and then it went silent, still holding.
Not working.
Not working. All right.
It should begin with a color blank, color screen on the screen.
A color on the screen
Yes.
is what you're expecting to see. So
Yes.
it would have to have some level of display functionality in order to do that.
So perhaps the cable is not good.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna.
We tried.
Yeah. Were you taking me down that road because of previous experience or some documentation that you found regarding this computer? Well, why did you take us down that road?
I found some videos on the YouTube.
Some videos that you thought would be applicable. Okay. Were they specific to this computer, or were they?
The description was Dell BIOS 8 bits problem solution and display failure.
Okay. All right. So that method just didn't work in our case. Here's continuing here. This is removing the palm rest. So these screws on the bottom are going to remove the palm rest, which is on the top of the keyboard. It's the portion on the laptop that surrounds the actual keys. And then remove the battery, 10 screws, remove the keyboard. So they've got a link here for how to remove the keyboard. Here's removing the keyboard. They want us first to remove the battery, which has already been done at this point. Open the display as far as possible, slide the plastic scribe, ease the keyboard up. We already went through the keyboard. All right, go back. I'm going back to 14 to follow the process again. This was removing the keyboard. After removing the keyboard, they never actually gave us. Oh yeah, we did. It did show us a visual of the keyboard, but it didn't show us the visual on the palm rest. Removing the palm rest. There's the screws. Oh, here, I didn't scroll down far enough. Yeah, so here's the palm rest is this entire section around here. That's the part that we're removing. They're showing removing it up using a spudge tool to do that and disconnecting these cables.
I put in the link for the display.
Oh, you found a replacement for it? Marvelous.
Yes. For $55 US.
$55. All right.
It's in California.
Ah. All right.
Mission Viejo.
Okay, we'll go take a look at that in a minute. Turn the computer open the display as far as possible. Make note of the wireless mini card routing. Disconnect the display cable from the system board. Remove the 2 screws. Lift and remove the assembly. So down on the next page should be visual of that. So there's showing disconnecting the cables. Replacing the assembly. Let's see, display cable, screw. Oh, here's the screws over here and over here. So those would be holding the hinges down. Disconnect the cable. So at that point, this whole display panel is separated from the computer. Then you install the replacement. Coming back to the chat. Chris remembering that Bart did say that, the iCaramba 14 with no display can't show diagnostics, catch 22. Yeah. Well, I think the possibility there is that there could be something wrong with display elements that would show some diagnostics. And then here's eBay to see the panel. Dell Inspiron 5030 and 5030 laptop, WXGA HD LCD LED screen display. Does that... Now, in my past purchases of these, I have found that sometimes you have to really look at some details. And the suppliers will even tell you some things. You have to make sure it's the right one for your computer. There may be things such as touch screen to consider or Wi-Fi antenna to consider. And sometimes they don't do a very good job of the photos. And I have seen cases where the same model laptop may have multiple different screens that were available.
Can be, but here I check. Yes, I check.
You've checked on the details and you're pretty confident this is the right one.
I will check. I will check again. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, sure. Yes.
Don't stress yourself. Don't go to extent on there. I just, for the purposes of this video, am providing information towards doing this. I'm not decided yet whether I want to actually do this on this laptop because it is so slow and old and such a small need for it that the easy, inexpensive solution is just to give her an external monitor if she's happy with the Chromebook. If she's not happy with the Chromebook, then I'm more interested in replacing the screen and probably doing the SSD.
Yes.
Because it's not gonna need to be a very high capacity SSD. The BIOS on this computer, being older, might even have trouble with recognizing an SSD at all. I don't know if older BIOSes are automatically able to.
You can check if the hard drive has already a more modern SATA, yes, SATA connector and not an IDE. It should be fine, yes.
Yeah, if it has a SATA connector rather than IDE, isn't the documentation going to show us that?
Yes.
Of course it is. Yeah. So here's going back into the service manual. That'd be an easy place. We just go look at the instructions for replacing the hard drive. Here's hard drive.
Yeah.
Removing hard drive, replacing hard drive. Come down here before you begin. There's showing all this stuff to remove. And here's the hard drive. Can we tell from that? That's replacing the hard drive. Let's see in the tech stuff. Palm rest, slide the hard drive away from the connector. Lift the hard drive out of the bay. That could be IDE. That looks to me like it's probably IDE.
Before you haven't seen it, you don't know.
Well, I think you could know before you've seen it if we have documentation. Because let's go back to how to resolve hard drive. Oh, look at this right here. Understanding troubleshooting a hard disk drive or solid state drive on a Dell computer.
It can take a solid state.
Well, no, I'm not convinced of that because it looks to me like this is just a documentation that Dell has available about understanding hard drives and SSDs on a Dell computer. I'm not convinced that document is specific to this model computer.
Yes.
You're thinking it is, it sounds like.
Yes.
Let's go back and
otherwise it would not be on this
Yeah, I'm not convinced of that from my experience. You might be right, but let's go look at parts and accessories, parts and upgrades. This should be parts and upgrades for this laptop.
No intelligent parts on there. I already checked.
I didn't understand that. Say again.
I already checked. There are just like VGA cable and Ethernet. It's not.
Yeah, these are just
keyboards, mouse.
Yeah. These are not specific to this computer. And I have seen sometimes on Dell's website, sometimes they are specific to the computer and sometimes not. But still,
You can,
there should be some documentation here that would tell us. Let's get back to overview, view product specs. What do we got in here regarding the drive? $320 gigabyte 5400 RPM drive. That doesn't tell us whether it's IDE or SATA.
but if you go into the BIOS, well,
Ah,
you-
good. Yes, of course.
and it's set to AHCI. So
Well, also just MS Info. Gotta put up with that again. Let's see, I gotta... Oh, look at that, I'm already in BIOS. Stop that beeping, you're driving me nuts. Come on, how am I going to shut you up?
loud.
Yeah, it's loud.
Let me-
Caramba.
let me
All right,
check
I'm
something.
I tell you what, I'm gonna mute my microphone so you don't have to listen to this. Let's do it this way. There's the BIOS SATA operation, AHCI. That tells us it's SATA. Does everybody agree?
Yeah. It is if it's set to AHCI, it's SATA, yes.
Yeah, and that option right there on the left hand column, it says SATA operation.
See, exactly, yes.
Yeah, so that is it. And then if I come back here to main, doesn't the, yeah, down about 2/3 of the way down, it says SATA 0DD,
Yeah, see?
and even, oh, now wait a minute, that says OptiArt DVD. That's SATA for the DVD drive. Above that it says fixed HDD. There's a Western Digital model number.
Yeah, that's probably the what model number is it?
Doug, the Western Digital is a SATA drive.
Doug,
Yeah.
what model number is the WD?
The WD 3200 BPVT-75ZE ST0. So bring that up and paste that model number into chat. And I'm going to shut this thing down here. Oh, I think it just shut off. I think it shut off before I...
BEVT.
Yeah, I pasted it into chat.
Bravo Echo Victor Tango.
I've got a Google search on here. Bravo Papa Victor Tango hyphen 75 Zulu Echo Sierra Tango 0.
Because now we can check what connection it has.
Right. So that's what I've got on video now that I'm streaming. So here it shows
So,
Western Digital.
yeah, it's okay.
Doug,
There we
this
go.
is a SATA drive.
Yeah, it's SATA.
Yes, it's SATA. See what I told you?
Yep,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes, good. Good.
That gives us total confirmation. So I should be able to put a SSD.
Yes. Yes. And she has now 320 gigabytes. Yes, so it's a 320 gigabyte.
Right.
So
Right.
if you give her a 500 gigabyte drive, absolutely great.
Agreed. If I go to the trouble of opening this, I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
Yes, please do, because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
For the PC and for her as well.
Yeah.
Yes. Because if you can see on an external screen, yes, this is a 5,400, and if you download Crystal Disk Info, yes,
Yeah.
and you can see how much it has been turned on, yes, and
Yeah.
how many hours it has run, yes, you might want to replace it automatically, yes.
I wouldn't go to the trouble of doing that for $39. I would just do it. I'm not going to go to the trouble of deciding whether the amount of time.
I find it here on Amazon for $34.07, but that's the original drive. Yes, you don't want that. You want an SSD. Yes.
Right. Oh, that's right. It's not $39 because that's for the hard drive, for the spinning drive. Let's move on to some other topic. We've gone far enough with this computer. I think we've diagnosed it, and I'm gonna talk with the client, and then you'll find out what direction we're going to take in a future video or live stream. If I do wind up either way, I'll do it a video recording. I'm not going to do it during a live stream, because the way I'll do that, I think, is I'll remove the old drive and I'll use another computer to clone from the old drive to the new drive, and then install the new drive. So let me go catch up with chat.
Yes, that's a good way to do it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So here I have a SanDisk Ultra, 500 gigabyte for 52.
All right.
$52 US. Yes.
Yeah. I'm fine with finding a drive to order it when I'm ready to.
Like, this is one of the cheapest, and it's also a good drive. So
okay.
You have you can hit 2 flies with one stone. Yes.
Okay. Let's move on to some other topics now. Here I've got Chris saying it was purchased 2011, saying it was SATA, and wanting me to let my Echo device hear the beeping. I worked on these before. Let's see, that's me putting in the information. Hard drive is SATA. Chris's laptop was from 2007 was SATA. William, I agree with Doug, due to its age and use, I would just do the least amount of work to it. I would not believe that it supported M.2 drive of any type, and SSD would be its limit, of course. Now, one thing here is really this, that goes against doing the hard drive, is replacing the hard drive, is if she likes the the Chromebook, she might not use this computer ever unless she needs to go look at something old. So it still may be a no sell.
You can, if she wants to use the Chromebook from now on, you still take the drive out and you put all her data that she had on this one. You can put it on a bigger USB stick and then give her the USB stick. Yes?
Yeah.
In case something is on there that she does not have on the other one. Yes?
Yeah, well, the thing is that what's probably going to be most significantly of use to her would be her accounting, her
yes.
QuickBooks, I think is what
and also,
she was using.
You said she was making the office for the painting business, yes?
Which they closed the business. They're not doing that anymore.
Yes, but still they need to keep all the data in Switzerland. Even if you have a business and then you close it, you still need to keep the records for 10 years. Yes? Yeah. And only after 10 years you can destroy the records completely. Yes?
Yeah.
This is in Switzerland, it's regulated by law. I don't know how long you have to keep it in the US. Yeah. Because I'm not from the US, but in Switzerland it's 10 years.
So that would be sufficient to put her QuickBooks company file on a USB memory stick, and she can stick that in a drawer for 10 years. Because I can always get her onto an old version of QuickBooks. QuickBooks, it's easy to download old versions to be able to open any older company files. So probably be better to do that than to rely on this old laptop to be able to start it up.
Yes, exactly.
Many years into the future. So that's a good point, Catherine. So let's move on again. I've had enough of this topic for now. Let's see what else we got to talk about. And thank you for your involvement, for everybody who is involved in that, particularly Zvi and Catherine.
Doug, I went to lunch and birthday with my daughter. I mean, in the kitchen area, and you were on that laptop when I went away. About an hour ago.
I didn't understand all of that. Say again.
Went to dinner with my daughter, and you were on the laptop when I left, and you're still on it.
Yes.
That's bad for you.
Yeah, that's my point. That's too much time on this.
To buy a new one for your late.
So let's move on. Let's move on. Although in our defense, I think we did cover a significant amount of instructional content about how to deal with issues on computers. So I think it was useful content.
Yes.
All right.
I try to be useful. You know that I can.
Oh, I know that.
We know that you are great, Catherine.
You do more than try. You succeed.
Good, because that's what I ask of myself. That's what I should do. Because otherwise I get angry with myself, and that's not good.
Yeah. So let me move on here. I've got in chat from Bill, Sony TT3. Hi, Doug and all. Just curious, Doug, have you ever got an email for me? I needed your help a week ago. I fixed my problem. I'm not sure offhand, Bill. It's quite possible I did. I do not respond to all emails I get from people saying they have a problem, because I am not offering free computer support via email. I am providing free computer support via live streams or YouTube sessions where you come into a Zoom session with me. If you just send me an email describing a problem, you should not expect to get an email back with any content about that. If you want to schedule a session, you should send me an email requesting that. If you only describe your problem, I may or may not reply to that. I don't want to get caught up in providing free email support. Catherine, you're trying to say something.
Yes, if you don't want to do it and he has a specific problem, and he can also message me, and then I can also see if I can help it.
Absolutely. Yes? Absolutely. Catherine does provide that. You can have, private message conversations with Catherine, and she will work with you to try to do that without having to create a YouTube video. I'm not at that point. And the way to communicate with Catherine is to connect with her on Facebook Messenger, right, Catherine?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So you can look for Catherine Houseman in Facebook, and then you can find my page, and then you can write me a message
Yes.
that describes the problem, because
So
freezing, it can be anything. It can be RAM, it can be a hard drive, it can be simply software. Yes, that something in the registry is not okay anymore. It can be merely freezing is so, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Catherine. And Catherine has put what to search for. So it's don't use her middle name, just Catherine Hauserman in Facebook.
Yep.
And that'll get you to her. Okay, moving on. Let's see, that one. And then Chris, if you clone using another computer, you may want that computer to be in legacy mode. Carrie did that and would not boot. Good point. Thank you for reminding me of that. So I would use my USB memory stick for Macrium Reflect and use the optional boot method, and be sure to choose the legacy boot mode from that USB. My Macrium Reflect, I created it specifically so that it could boot in either legacy or UEFI mode. A good week ago, my Windows 10 computer was freezing. Ben, email you, but Happy New Year. So he was having a freezing problem apparently. And so he's understanding my response to that. And then there's that. Happy New Year, everyone, from Bill. And there we go, caught up. I don't think there was any other requests on my list of topics that I was offering for today. That's this list here. And how long have we been? 3 hours and 40 minutes. Oh, good grief. It's time to end this. And it looks like, if I go back to Zoom, I've got no videos from anybody. No video images from anybody. They've all dropped out. That's a clue. That's a clue. Time to say goodbye, everybody. Thank you for being here. I hope you got something useful out of this session. And I think I heard somebody trying to speak up in Zoom. Was there any other last comment?
Thank you very much for the live stream.
Yes.
It's always a pleasure if I can be here and I can help too with things. You know it.
Yep. Yep. Very good, Catherine. Thank you. And I'm going to go ahead and end the Zoom session. And then I'll do my ending speak here. Alex just turned his camera on.
I do.
Hi. Are you just popping in to say goodbye? Goodbye. All right. Thank you for doing that. It made me feel less lonely. And then clicking ending meeting for all in 3, 2, 1, goodbye. There, that is gone. And then bring up my, you're looking down at the desk because I was trying to show the laptop earlier. There's my email address if you'd like to contact me. Lately, it seems that I've just been doing live streams on Saturdays, and I'm in the midst of trying to improve my system so that I can be doing videos and live streams more frequently. Not quite there yet. But if you'd like to request a free one-on-one support session, the way that works is you send me an email address requesting a support session. Give me a little bit of an idea what you'd like to have help with, and be glad to do that with you. Now, the catch is that I'm either creating a YouTube video out of it that I'll upload to my channel and publish, or doing a live stream with you where the people that are in the chat room can participate in trying to solve whatever the issue is. So that's how that works. And like I mentioned earlier, I don't provide free support just over email interaction. So if you send me an email, the big old description, I may not even read it if you're not clearly requesting a support session. Okay, that's it. Happy New Year. Catch you later. Goodbye.